if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me, at any time. But again, purpose of tonight's session is to go over a threat hunt from A to Z. All right. And we'll go ahead and do all of the 7 steps that we typically would do, but we're going to walk through them and put this report in Sockbite. All right. I did drop the turnover in the Zoom. So go ahead and add your name to the shift turnover report, and we will go ahead and kick it off. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And let me know if you guys can see my screen here in just a second.
Yeah.
Legible.
Good.
We're good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, cool, 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 cool. Give me 1 second here. Make sure. All right, man. Well, without further ado, we'll go ahead and kick things off. So shift turnover tonight is for June 16th. Shift lead is myself. I see we have Anthony, Chris, Courtney, Adonis, Richard, and those of you who are still flowing in, add your name. No major incidents or key activities to report, so our current risk level is set to low and our risk trend is stable. There were no notable observations recorded that would impact that risk level. In terms of announcements and communications, I'm actually going to make one adjustment here. There has been a cyber threat intelligence course created and added to school. So basically, for those of you who were on the call yesterday, we went through a CTI report from start to finish. Shout out to Moise for leading that one and all of you who contributed. That's been turned into a course. So if you go in here, you'll see that there's a cyber threat intelligence course right here. If you click inside of this, you'll see that there's a breakdown on what cyber threat intelligence is. All right, this is a micro course. You've never seen it before. You have no idea what it is. This is a 1 to 2 hour ordeal where you come in here and you should know exactly how to do a CTI report after you're done with this course. Okay. There's a 2 hour walkthrough from yesterday's shift. And there's the actual report, finished product here from Sockbite. So very simple, straight to the point. The purpose of these micro courses are really for welcome and onboardings for people who are just getting started and want to see exactly what we do step by step. They can actually see it from live shift. So if you have questions about doing a CTI report, refer back to this course, complete this course, and then ask questions. All right, back to the turnover. Rule of 100 mock interviews. I am also creating the checklist. I'm not done with that yet, but that'll be, published soon. Aiming for the end of the week where there'll be no more, nothing else for you guys to do besides just go through the checklist. If you've already done something, just check it off. But it'll be a checklist that everybody should essentially refer to. Um, Again, that'll also leak into the welcome and onboarding docket. Updating run books. Again, there's a couple of run books that can be updated that are up for grabs. I highly recommend that you guys take that initiative to start working on run books because definitely, definitely, definitely in an interview, you are going to be asked, can you talk about any run books that you've developed or have updated or worked on? You want to have something to say to it. And it's a lot easier if you actually have a reference point to pivot from. All right. If you're just blowing smoke, and you haven't practiced blowing smoke, it's going to kind of, leak through. So just to avoid all of that, tackle one of these run books. And even if it's just by all means, everybody should review every run book in the drive. That's like a non-negotiable. And if it means that you're making an update to one portion of the run book, you still get credit for that, right? But be familiar with it. And with everything that we have access to, right? This is a very easy win. So don't neglect this small deliverable because it's a win in an interview, right? The work that you neglect on these shifts on your free time, that is an opportunity that gets lost in an interview because those are your opportunities to shine. When they ask you, give me an example of a time where developed a run book, that's an easy win for you. If you're fumbling that question, then you intentionally are fumbling the bag. All right, I'm not going to harp on that. In terms of important items, there is a mandatory coaching call at the end of this month. It's a Sunday coaching call. We do it once a month. Do me a favor. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat for you, Jeffrey. There's a mandatory coaching call once a month that I'll be leading to provide high level updates that we can all kind of sync together. For those of you who have other obligations, can't make it, I highly encourage you to be there. You never know what might be happening, might be getting announced. I'm not going to say anything else. New threat hunting deck, that's old. New incident response and detection guide. You guys should have already been aware of that. Moving on, shift metrics dashboard. I'm just going to go ahead and say that our metrics are live in Sockbite. So if you haven't seen that, I recommend that you glance at the dashboard because I can actually see the metrics associated with everyone. So if you're creating reports within SOAR, if you're creating reports within CTI, whether it's a threat hunt or advisory, we're seeing those metrics, the mean time to assign, mean time to investigate, and the mean time to resolve. I can also see the number of offenses that you've assigned and the amount of reports that you've created. So there's no ducking the work. All right. So get in there. If there's no number next to your name, then make it your point by the end of tonight to put a number next to your name. All right. System health status. Looks like all tools are up and running. I will say that Sentinel-1 does have an issue, has been escalated to the engineering team. They are aware of it and they're working on it and they're actually in communication with the vendor. So it's a little bit of a bigger issue than, something that they initially thought. Splunk is down because it is being migrated to a new cloud, so that's expected. Other than that, all tools seem to be up and running and functioning as expected. Items requiring next shift attention, nothing really there. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. I don't see any active incidents. I don't see any threat intelligence or threat hunting reports, and no tuning recommendations or schedule maintenance windows. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put Splunk here, so that's there. Go ahead and put that. I don't know. I don't remember the exact. I'll have to come back here and put the actual. Um, Anyway, moving on. Runbook documentation updates, analyst performance standards, prompt for generating resume bullets. I'll probably be making some updates to that soon. Mock interview simulation prep guide. You guys should definitely check that out if you haven't already. Microsoft Defender access, you already know about that. Documentation needs, again, kind of touched on that already. And that's pretty much it. Any questions? Any questions? No? All right. All right, cool. So I think we could go ahead and move on for that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. Richard, you got anything?
No, no.
All right. All right, guys. So let me go ahead and we're going to dive into some threat hunting in just a second. Is Bella on? Can't tell if she's on tonight. Is
Yeah, I
anyone
see
there?
her here. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please.
So I had put in the VSOC channel that I was doing a specific CVE that Moise had dropped, and then I noticed that Celestine had posted it today on LinkedIn that he worked on the same one. Is
It's
that going
fine.
to affect what I'm uploading? Okay, thank you.
No, I mean, here's the thing, right? It might be create a duplicate within Sockbite. That's the only, I would say, drawback. Do I really care that much? No. Because at the end of the day, there's every cybersecurity team, every CTI team is working on that. They're publishing an article related to that CV. I don't even know what that CV is, but if obviously like if it's relevant to recent news and known exploits, then it's definitely at the top of everybody's mind. So again, it's okay if there's a little bit of a duplicated effort. So yeah. But again, I like to delegate and distribute the workload so everybody's doing something somewhat different. Um, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I don't see an issue with it. If you're comfortable, I'm good with it.
Okay, yeah, I feel I'm halfway done with it, so I'd like to finish it.
All right, well then there you go. Finish it. I'm not gonna say nothing. Um, yeah, we'll have to just make sure he announces that next time so there's no overlap in efforts there. So I'm just logging into Sockbite here. Bear with me. All right. Any other questions? I'm still waiting for some interviews for folks. It's like, I don't know, 2 weeks now, going on 2 weeks, I ain't get them. Do I have to start calling people out on this call right now, or are you guys gonna come to me? Who's coming to me? Because if I gotta start, you know what I'm saying, pulling coattails, I will. Anybody want to volunteer themselves into the smoke?
I know I got to do the fourth round interview this
All
week.
right. Thank you, Marcus.
Sorry, I
Who
need to
else?
send it in. Yeah, I need to send it in. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. All right. So got some brave warriors on this call. It's easy to just face me head on. Don't duck the smoke, because then I have no mercy. Jeffrey,
Uh,
I haven't gotten a phone screen from you, by the way.
I hear you. I'm not ready.
You're not ready.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that just yet.
Why aren't you ready?
Because I feel like I only did just a couple.
How about send me a phone screen recording, fail
Uh-huh.
miserably, let me
Okay.
pull you apart, and then I'll
Okay.
put you back together a whole lot better. How about we just do
Okay.
that?
All right then. Got
Thank you.
you.
All right. Who else? Who else here is ducking
I
smoke?
have to give you a fourth interview still. I'm going to find some time to do that on Friday since it's a holiday.
Okay. All right. Yeah, what's the holiday coming up? Is it Juneteenth?
Yeah,
Juneteenth. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool, cool.
yeah, it's on a Saturday, but I think everybody's observing it on Friday.
Absolutely. Gregory, I haven't gotten shit from you. So what's going on, Greg? Can I get a mock interview from you? Or
Can you hear me?
should I put it on the should I put it on the should I put it on my whiteboard for 2027?
All right,
Yeah,
can you hear me? Yeah,
Kyle, what's up?
I was gonna same thing as Richard this Friday. I'm gonna give you the interviews.
All right.
Yeah,
All right, cool. Those of you who are doing them are actually doing really well. And I can see a huge difference in just your confidence. And if anybody disagrees, feel free. But I know Adonis, you've done a great deal of them. Ghazi, you've done a great deal of them. Kyle, you've done a great deal of them. Anthony, Marcus, you've done a great deal of them. Bella, you've done a great deal of them. Bella, you got some interviews coming up this week. I think three. Congratulations. That's good. Chris, you've done a great deal of them. So those of you who are doing them, you're doing well. Like I'm seeing, and I like what I'm seeing. Those of you who are afraid to do them and fail, I think that's just, like like if you've never gone to the gym and done push-ups, the first time you're going to do a push-up, it's gonna suck. You're gonna look terrible, and it's probably gonna be terrible form. And that's okay. That's what you got to get past that. So then you can actually start doing like three reps of good reps, 5 reps, 10 reps, and then you know what I'm saying? Start to, shake the man boobs. But like let's just not duck the work anymore. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and jump into it. Any questions on that before I go ahead and jump into it? Is Moise on the call? Is Mr.
Yes, I'm on the call.
Mr. Moise?
Oh, wow.
Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you here.
Doing a threat hunt with Moist. Everybody's
Yeah,
lucky day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here and we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Let's not waste any more time. And let me know if you can see my screen. You should be able to see Can everybody see my screen up here?
Yeah, the dashboard metrics.
Yep. You guys got that? All right. Cool, cool, cool. So I'm just trying to move my screen around so I can get everybody where I want them. And then so I can see you guys. All right. So as I was mentioning earlier, the metrics. Okay. So you can see here, the offense crusher is Odonis. So he is the offense crusher. Failed to execute. Please check your syntax. Okay. Don't know what that's all about. But Adonis, you are the offense crusher. The speed demon is Richard, okay? And the case champion is also Odonis. Let me go ahead and take a screenshot of that. There we go. So you guys are dominating the leaderboards. Now, if you see here, threat intelligence performance, you'll see, okay, the threat intel lead, the case leaderboard, and then you have some L1 analyst performance here. So you want to get your name on the board. If you're not on the board, put your name on the board up to score. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and you guys should still be able to see my screen now, right? When I'm showing my CrowdStrike module. All right, so
Yes.
we're gonna go ahead and dive into threat hunting. So before we get started, I want to talk about what threat hunting is and why it's valuable and why this is arguably one of the hottest skills in cybersecurity right now to date. So threat hunting is the exact opposite of incident response, right? Because threat hunting is essentially finding threats before they exist, before they're exploited. All right. It's proactive security. It's not reactive, it's proactive. It's not quite offensive security like pen testing or red teaming, but it's proactive security. It's finding the threats before they are exploited. Okay. And when you are performing a threat hunt or conducting a threat hunt investigation, excuse me, unlike the threat advisories or intelligence reports that focus on a CVE or a vulnerability, threat hunts focus on the threat actor themselves, the bad guys. All right. These are criminal organizations. These are criminal institutions. These are script kiddies in their mother's basement. These are as advanced persistent threats or nation state sponsored attacks, which are funded by governments. All right. So it could be, the North Korean government, a very famous group. Can anyone tell me one of the most notorious North Korean threat actor groups out there? Just by coming off mute? Does anybody know?
You said name a group?
Yeah, well, I'm specifically referring to like a
Uh,
North Korean threat actor. Does anyone know?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, one that I am familiar
was
with is called the
Vice Spider one?
That could be.
Oh.
I'm not familiar. We can find out. But the point I'm making is that there's different threat actors and they all come from different origins and some of them are funded by their governments, right? These are actually they're called advanced persistent threats or nation state sponsored attacks. And whenever you hear an APT 45 or a nation state, that's typically an adversary or criminal organization that's funded by a government. They have a lot of resources, a lot of money, and they're intentional. And again, so one well-renowned group is Lazarus Group, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think it's yeah, let me see, North Korean threat actor. I think it should pop up here. Yeah, APT 38. So Lazarus Group, APT 38 or Advanced Persistent Threat 38 is an umbrella term for several North Korean state-sponsored hacking clusters, known primarily for launching massive cryptocurrency thefts, ransomware, and high-profile supply chain attacks to fund state operations. So these are pretty serious organizations. Now, the only difference between a threat actor or a criminal organization and a legitimate organization is one has malfeasant intent and the other doesn't, right? These are real organizations. They operate like real companies, especially at this level. All right. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you may have a script kiddie who's a 16-year-old kid in his mother's basement using Kali Linux free open source hack tools. So, it varies on the amount of technicality and sophistication. All right. So again, that's a little bit about a little bit about threat hunting. And so what we've been doing is we've used a tool known as CrowdStrike EDR, which is endpoint detection and response tool, because CrowdStrike has a bunch of different features and capability. And so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So a lot of you have done this before, so if it seems repetitive, my apologies, but let's reinforce it here. Can never do this enough. So if you log into CrowdStrike by default, you are in the activity dashboard view. So we're going to navigate to this hamburger on the top left and we're going to pivot and go to counter adversary operations. Now I'm going to stop there. Counter adversary operations is exactly what it sounds like, right? An adversary is a threat actor, is a bad guy, and an adversary operation is a criminal organization. And so if we're countering those adversary operations, we're essentially threat hunting. We're trying to stop them. So counter adversary operations is the module. And then within counter adversary operations, we're going to go over to finished intelligence and click on adversaries. All right. And it says finished intelligence right here. You'll click on adversaries. So once we do that, we are literally within the counter adversary module within the adversaries tab. And by default, who can tell me how many threat actors, are published within CAO? How many different threat actor profiles can we find here?
287 total.
How do you know that?
On the top left says it 10
287
adversaries,
threat actors.
287.
Is that the total amount of threat actors in the world?
No, just in our environment in CrowdStrike.
Okay, and when you say in our environment, do you mean like these threats exist in our environment, or do you mean that these are the amount of threat actor profiles that CrowdStrike's team has put together?
The threat actor profiles.
Got it. Okay, cool. So you would be right. So as you guys can see here, we have a ton of different filters at the top. You should pay attention to them because you can filter on whatever you feel like. Just like when you go into Facebook Marketplace and you filter distance, and then you filter on whatever you're looking at, buying a new swing set for your kids, or, maybe you're buying a pair of used Jordans or a pair of used, I don't know, what's the guy's name? Who's the guy from the Grizzlies that jumps out the gym? You know what I'm talking about?
John Morant.
John Morant. Yeah, maybe you went on Facebook Marketplace, put your radius to 5 miles, and you're in the Bronx or you're in Queens somewhere, and you're trying to buy a pair of used John Morants because you think you're nice in basketball. Yeah, don't do that. Just filter these filters in CrowdStrike. So with that being said, these are all the different threat actor profiles. Now, typically in an enterprise environment, when you log in for work that day, your manager might say, "Hey, listen, guys, shift one, I need these three threat actor profiles done today." Now, it's very important to understand what is the thought process as to, well, how do we approach threat hunting? That is also a question that's going to come up in an interview. What's your approach to threat hunting? You will get that question in an interview. And again, that is an opportunity for you to flex your muscles and really shine, because it's an easy answer. It's an easy question. What most programs don't even have threat hunting programs. And so when you're asked that question, what's your approach to threat hunting? That's why it's so important to understand the role of your higher ups. Because when you understand the role of your higher ups, you can do a better job in your role, and then you can have them do a better job across the board. And that's how you really get noticed and separate yourself. So the reason why it's important to understand why is because from my experience, when I was working at Microsoft supporting NYPD, my SOC manager used to say, "We need to get these 3 threat hunts done today. Here they are, this threat actor, that threat actor." So in this case, it would be Hook Spider, Punk Spider, and Traveling Spider. You can see there's a lot of, synergies between some of the naming conventions of these adversaries. Some of these are from Russia. You can see from Russia, these are unknown by looking at the origin. But the point I'm making is that's all we got. He didn't say anything else. We just need to do with the threat hunt on these threat actors. Now, how he came to determine which threat actors we would focus on, well, that's the important part. And so when you're asked, what's your approach to threat hunting, right? The way you really answer that question is, well, our approach to threat hunting really depends on who our customers, our suppliers, our vendors, and brother and sister companies are impacted by. Because let's just say let's say a law enforcement agency, or let's step away from that and go into a financial institution. If you're working at Bank of America on the threat hunting team, and some news goes out that JP Morgan Chase was hit by a ransomware attack from a known threat actor based out of North Korea, then do you think that your team at Bank of America would be concerned with that? Can anyone come off mute and tell me whether or not they would be concerned with that? Why or why not?
I would say yes, because they're also a financial institution.
Bingo. They're also a financial institution. So the question that comes up is, well, are we on their radar? Or what's stopping us from being next, right? So that's why it's important. And the reason why you also have to consider your customers and your suppliers and your vendors, can anyone tell me why it's important to look at things from a third-party risk management lens? Can anybody tell me why?
Yeah.
Because
So
let's just say we're not hit with a ransomware attack, or we're not a target, but one of our customer, supplier, vendors are. Why is that important, Anthony?
yeah, it's important because as a third party, they have access to your systems, your data. And who
Perfect.
knows how far the pipeline that goes. Like go back to Target. When their HVAC system got hit, then they got a data breach after that. As an example.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Couldn't
if
answer it
they go
better.
down, then we don't get paid, you know?
Exactly. Perfect. You couldn't answer it better. The reason why we care is because it's not even a matter of we're a target, but if any of our customers, suppliers, or vendors are targets, well, that becomes a problem because if our systems are connected, which in a lot of times they are, and let's say we share confidential information, right? Confidential data, documents, and whatnot on a shared server, and data is exfiltrated from a customer, and our data was in that, number of files that were exfiltrated, that impacts us directly now. And depending upon what type of organization you are, so for example, if you are working for a subcontractor of the government, there are reporting requirements, whether it be ITAR restrictions, whether it be CUI. There are reporting requirements that you have to that you are obligated to meet within a certain time frame. Once you confirm that there's a breach or an incident and data was in fact exfiltrated or impacted, you have an obligation to report that within a certain time frame. An SLA. You guys know what an SLA is, right? Everyone should know what an SLA is.
Service
If
level
you do,
agreement.
yeah, service level agreement, meaning you are contractually obligated to report within a certain amount of time. And if you don't, then you are liable for penalties financially, and you are also liable to lose out on that contract. So this is why it's important. Okay, moving on from that. So if everyone can still see my screen here, that's our approach to threat hunting. That's why we care about this. And again, our primary goal is to build a threat actor profile and identify what three-letter acronym?
IOCs.
Indicators of compromise. Bingo. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and filter. We're going to filter on the most recent activity because we want to stay relevant to active, right? Keyword is active adversaries. And I think by default, if you look here and scroll down, CrowdStrike does a good job of making sure that the most active threat actors are at the top, which you guys can see here, the status. I'm just hovering over it. All of these are active. So we can just pick really any of these. Does anyone have a preference? But also another thing you could do is you can focus, or you can filter, excuse me, on the targeted countries, industries, the origin. I like origin because, for example, I like to look at relevant what's happening now with this Iranian Middle Eastern issue we're experiencing. So for example, the origin of the threat actor, let's say we want it to be Iran. There we go, Iran, Middle East. So if we hit apply, okay, then you guys can see here, look, we're still active, right? Status is active, June 2026. So Hydro Kitten seems to be pretty active. I'm going to go ahead and, unless anyone has an objection, I'm going to go ahead and just click on Hydro Kitten. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look. I think this is a really good one. All right. Yeah, let's do that. Everyone cool with that? So this is what I would call a fish sandwich, because CrowdStrike's counter adversary operations team basically put a fish sandwich on a plate and we can just eat it, right? Here's the threat actor, there's the origin, here's the adversary type, the status, first seen date, last seen date, their motivation, again, their origins. Here's their targeted industries, countries, community identifiers. Those of you who don't know what that is, that's an alias or a nickname. So if your name is Richard and you go by John, or if you go by my name is Michael and you go by Mike, that's an alias or a community identifier. It's just a nickname. So they have all these different community identifiers right there. And then there's even some intel reports, and probably the most important module here is the total indicators, which are the malicious artifacts. So this is why I said that CrowdStrike places this on a fish, gives us a fish sandwich. But as threat hunters, we need to know how to fish for ourselves, right? If you give a man a fish sandwich, he eats for a day, but if you teach a man to fish, he can feed himself forever. So I want to make sure that we all know how to fish. Okay, so Marcus, you're on the call, and Marcus, you always do a phenomenal job of dropping those threat hunting steps in the chat. Would you be ever so kind to do that for us if you haven't already?
I have, but I'll do it again. Hold on.
Awesome. Awesome. So, step one, we're going to go ahead and kick off this threat hunt now. You guys know how we got here, so I'm not going to repeat that. If you don't, just watch the recording. So, Hydro Kitten is the threat actor that we're going to be working from, okay? And these are some of the most important things that we need. Now, what we want to do first and foremost is we want to do a search. We want to look at these intel reports because sometimes you can get some valuable information out of CrowdStrike. All right. And you can see here, just pay attention to the date. So you can see June 12th. So this is relevant. March 6th, that's a little dated. February. So they're getting older, right? They're getting older as we go along. I didn't mean to do that. Let me go ahead and, all right, let me try this one more time. So here's an article from CrowdStrike that was published just a couple days ago. And you can see here the week of 6 June. And okay, so this report provides customer clearest threat landscape combining CrowdStrike intelligence with the power of managed professional CrowdStrike Overwatch threat hunting. All right, so you can see intrusions by vertical threat type. Okay, so we see that there's a high amount of technology. All right, so technology is obviously like a huge target. All right, the technology industry retail. So again, this would fall within, I guess you can say right here, the targeted industries. All right, you always will see technologies there. It's listed right there. So technology, retail, okay, consulting, professional services. This is just helpful to get a high level overview of understanding. Top tools and malware. So we have advanced IP scanner, AnyDesk. Can anyone tell me what AnyDesk is, or Hop2Desk, or Quick Assist? Does anyone know what tools?
Any desk, isn't that involving like remote access? You give someone remote access to your computer.
Exactly, you got it, right? And so you can see here, right? After gaining initial access, I'm gonna stop right there. Initial access, what is that?
They're gaining access to your endpoint or your whatever you're using, a laptop, computer.
Yeah, but when I say initial access, does that not stand out to you guys? Like that should be like like you guys should know exactly where that's from. And if I said, for example,
That's using our MITRE attack matrix.
MITRE attack matrix, is that so the initial access is that a tactic or a technique?
It's a tactic.
It's a tactic because essentially a tactic, initial access, it's exactly what it sounds like. As an adversary attempting to gain initial access to a system. And so you can see here, this adversary Plump Spider, which is not who we are working on. No, we're working on Hydro Kitten. But again, there's some relevance here because if I scroll, here you go, Plump Spider. So I'm gonna skip this for now because we're looking at Plump Spider. So they kind of consolidated multiple things going on here. But Plum Spider also executed a PowerShell-based Wi-Fi reconnaissance. Does anyone know where that term is from?
Into reconnaissance, you're trying to get like a map or an overview of what network you're trying to get into. You're just pretty much getting intel.
Exactly. Reconnaissance is a fancy way of saying gathering intel. And is that a tactic or technique?
It's a tactic.
Tactic.
Correct. So you guys should be able to see initial access and we go, oh, that's a tactic on MITRE. Reconnaissance, oh, that's a tactic on MITRE. And so they executed a PowerShell based, remember we talked about PowerShell.exe, a legitimate tool, but it can be used for bad. Here's an example. Plump Spider executed a PowerShell based script, reconnaissance script to collect information that collected keyword wireless network information from the host. The service host.exe, a NIM-based binary from a prior intrusion with the same get screen sample, performed DNS-based command and control. Does anyone know what that is? Command and control communication? I'll go ahead and pull this up for you guys because you guys should. Like, this is important. Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank always says all roads map back to him. And I say in cybersecurity, all roads map back to MITRE. So we've seen reconnaissance, we've seen initial access, execution, we've seen what else do we have here? Command and control. You guys see that? Like I'm just reading like command and control. So this is why it's important. This binary also dropped a PowerShell script that established persistence. Let's go back. Where do we see that? Does anyone know? Boom. TA003, persistence. Can anyone tell me what the discovery tactic number is? You guys remember that? You don't have to remember these numbers, but I thought it was cool that we did remember. Does
Oh,
anyone
the
remember that?
T0007.
T0009.
Oh,
Oh,
close.
0007. You were right. You were right.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong. You're right. TA0007. Yes, because the James Bond. I thought it was 0009. My bad. One of these. Yeah, you're right. So exactly. So we got to figure out a way to remember most of these. You see that? So I'm going back. I'm not going to deviate. We're focused. All right. So starful link and a scheduled task, disabled Windows Firewall and Defender real-time monitoring, and executed a user's temp directory from scanning and excluded the user's temp directory from scanning. Why do you think they'd want to do that? Why do you think this last part right here? Why do you think that would be something they want to do? Exclude the user's temp directory from scanning. Look, it
Just
says disabled Windows Firewall and Defender EDR real-time monitoring. So they disabled the firewall and the EDR monitoring and excluded the user's temp directory from scanning. Why would they want to do that?
Because the temp directory is where you can masquerade malicious files.
You guys got this, man. You guys got this. That's a fact.
That was just me.
You got it. That was just you.
I'm joking.
So this is why it's important to get a little bit more information. All right. You can see there's other adversary debuts. We're not going to go through all that. But again, this is the process of threat hunting. I'm just doing a little bit of recon. Now, I'm going to go back into here. Before we look at these total indicators, or I guess I could pull it up right here. Boom. Cool. So right here, right? These total indicators, these are the 85 indicators that were handed to us by CrowdStrike. Now, by default, I can see there's 85 items. If I just click on here, half of these are IP addresses. The other ones are, so we pretty much see IPs, MD5, SHA-1, 256 domains. Can anyone tell me here which ones we don't care about?
The SHA-1.
Okay, and why is that?
Because they can always be manipulated.
Correct, Marcus. Way to come in clutch. I love that you guys are all contributing and participating. This is great. You're absolutely right. SHA-1 is not trustworthy, basically, because it can be manipulated. Two inputs can produce the same output. Therefore, it's not secure. Therefore, we don't care about it. So you can see here, we have a whole list of these indicators. And so as you guys already know, in step one, what is the first step? Building the threat actor profile. Being that we have access to CrowdStrike and we're one of the most elite cybersecurity teams walking planet Earth, right? We already have the threat actor profile, all of the relevant fields that we need. However, step two of our threat hunt procedures is what? I try identify indicators of compromise. So we have these indicators of compromise, but just for a second, we're going to pretend like we don't. We need to be able to threat hunt in the wild on our own. So who can tell me the search that we're going to run in Google, just a random search to produce results for indicators associated with this threat actor, Hydro Kitten? Who can tell me the search?
You can use like virus total.
Yes.
So
To
you would look,
validate the indicators, yes. But before we validate the indicators that CrowdStrike gave us, we want to be able to try to find indicators that are not recorded in CrowdStrike on our own. Because, and the reason why we want to do this is because let's say we were told to conduct a threat hunt for Blippy Spider and there were no IOCs recorded in CrowdStrike. Are you going to tell your manager or whoever, the client or the stakeholder, yeah, we couldn't find anything? And you don't know how to find anything outside of the CrowdStrike just because CrowdStrike didn't give you a fish sandwich? No. So we got to go find stuff on our own, and then we can do the validation in OSINT. So guys, you're right, but you're skipping to step 3, and we're still on step 2. All right, so who can tell me the search?
Put is Hydro Kitty in the search and search the IOCs for Hydro Kitty.
Is that like that? Awesome.
Yes.
I like it. So we can see it's a Iranian, also tracked as Cyber Avengers. Let's actually see if that's true, if it's in a what we see here. So Soldiers of Solomon, Mr. Soul Group, APT Iran, Cyber Avengers. Okay, see that? So that's tracking, right? That's promising. Cyber Avengers, cool. An Iranian sponsored threat actor, critical infrastructure, financial, water utilities, Recent campaigns heavily target internet-exposed programmable logic controllers and human-machine interfaces using specific exploits and backdoors. Okay, cool. So you can see here, primary indicators are compromised, targeted ports, primary exploit, they have a CVE associated, that's widespread, tactics, use of rclone for data exfiltration, that seems like a malware variant or tool. Tools and techniques, custom backdoors, so you can see such as chain shell. So there's custom backdoor. There's like a malware family or malware variant. Okay, that's different from a threat actor. A malware family or malware variant is a specific type of malware that they use. Now, where can they get this malware? They can develop it themselves, or they can purchase it from other criminal organizations that produce the malware. So you have some organizations that just make the malware, you have some organizations that use the malware, and you have some organizations that sell the malware. Then you have some organizations that do all of the above. So it's important context. All right. So we're going to scroll down because we're not just looking at this. We want to look at some of these links. So let's just look at a couple of these links. CISA is always a good one. The Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. Let's see. Deep Watch. SOC Prime. Let's see what that's all about. Iranian threats from Anvil critical infrastructure. It's getting a little older. You can see March 2020. Iranian Threat Acts, Cyber Angel. So I'm just looking at a couple of these that have Iranian linked hackers in the in the name. I'm gonna just grab a couple of these. I love SOC Radar, such a great resource. And I'm gonna go ahead now. Who can tell me right away? I don't got time to read 10 of these articles. We don't got time for that because it takes too long. So if I want to know right out the gate, if these 10 articles that I just opened up, maybe it's like 6 articles, 7 articles, what's the search I'm going to run right away to see if it's even something I need?
Control F.
And then what?
IOC.
All right.
Or CVE or something.
No, you were right the first time. So IOCs, okay. So I'm looking for IOCs. I'm just going to see, okay, there's the second hit. I see the word IOC, but I don't see it. I can say for a downloadable copy of IOCs, and then it says see these two dots. There's an XML and there's a JSON. Okay. Who can tell me which one of these is going to be the one we want to use?
XML.
If at all. Is it?
Probably not. Definitely not the JSON. Yeah, nah.
That's not easy to read.
Nah. Yeah, nah.
The JSON?
No, definitely not.
Why not?
That's why.
All right.
You could try searching indicators if IOC doesn't come up, and then if nothing else comes up on the page, then you would pivot to the next one.
So, yeah, we're right. Hold on. Go up here. So IOCs. Okay, for a downloadable copy, you can see here I could download this XML and this JSON. You can also see, let me go back here. Oh, I want to type in always do this too. Another best practice if you type in IOC and you don't get any hits, nothing returns, also type in the word indicator. Okay? Because a lot of times just doing that can you might be able to find something that maps directly to, so you can see here, see exactly why I just said what I just said, because before clicking IOC didn't return anything if I just went through this list of 5 results, I wouldn't have seen anything and I would have been like, oh, there's nothing here. No, that's not the case. It's not referring to the acronym indicator. If you click through here, now you can see, oh, indicators of compromise. It didn't actually use the IOC reference or the acronym. And then boom, voila, look at all these indicators. You guys see that? So if I go and look at this one right here, and I go back into CrowdStrike, and I compare it to what's in CrowdStrike, do you guys, boom, okay, this one is actually recorded in CrowdStrike. But that doesn't mean that all of these are. Like if I grab this guy, it may not be. I don't know. We have to basically compare and see if this is in CrowdStrike. Because the goal of what we're trying to accomplish is we want to find indicators that are not in CrowdStrike. We want to be able to find indicators that are not within the, because this has what, 40 something IP. So if I go here and I just see, okay, so probably all these are, because there's only like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 of them. So they're probably all recorded, within CrowdStrike. So I'm not going to, go check all of them, but that's exactly what we're going to do across the board. So for example, we're a SOC prime. So the first thing I'll do the same thing just real quick. Okay, we got 3 hits here. So IOCs hash to detect Iranian. So I can see here, there's 3 hits right here. Let's see. So IOCs, ND5, source IP, destination IP. So for example, if we wanted to look at this, let's see what this does. Okay, so it's not giving us good. Okay, this is not helpful for us. Let me try one more thing. I don't think this is gonna be. So yeah, okay. So we're moving on. Whole process of elimination here. Do the same thing here. All right, see if there's anything indicators of compromise from this campaign, and the indicators of compromise section. Okay, at the end of the advisory. Look, at the end of the advisory. So if I just scroll down here, indicators above have been defanged. Okay, you guys see why I tell you guys to do that? IOCs above have been defanged for safe distribution. Restore brackets and docs before implementing in detection tools. So you guys see here, here's an indicator. Here's a URL, malicious APK. We have a C2 endpoint, right? Command and control. So if you go to this URL, it's to a command and control server. Here's a redirect URL. If you go to this bit.ly, it's going to redirect you. Short link used to deliver malicious APK download payload. Who can tell me what an APK is? Somebody do a quick search. If you don't know what it is, tell me.
Android package.
There you go. Is that true?
Yeah. Android package kit or Android application package.
So this isn't showing. Okay. So you guys can see all I'm doing is I'm just grabbing these and I'm just throwing them in. Now, if I look in CrowdStrike, it's more likely than not. And if you just hit search, they'll automatically remove those. Virus Total will automatically remove those brackets for you. So, and a lot of times when you have domains or URLs, what you should do is you should look at these within a sandbox. And we could do that. Where can we do that?
CrowdStrike Sandbox.
Yes, we can. So I'm going to just real quick, I want to just take one of these. I just want to show you, right? Here's one. And I'm going to go into here. So there's only 3 domains. So if I just do Control F and I paste this, there's no hits. So this is not recorded. There's an indicator. We just found one from this Anvologic source that is not included in our CrowdStrike adversary operations, right? Go ahead and type in indicate. All right, you can see here, any key indicator, okay. Okay, so it looks like maybe it's just these 3. Yeah, really wasn't much there at all. But the point is the process doesn't change. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do one more article just because I don't want to spend too much time on this. I want to move on. So see here what we have here. So you guys can see. Okay, call the IOC. Okay, relogins, public IOC. Yes, I don't know. I don't see anything here. We'll go down to the next one. Disrupt by targeting internal PLCs. Nothing there either. Okay. Pick us. Okay, check the IOCs. Okay. I just like doing this because it lets me know real quick. I love SOC radar. All right, cyber reflections of the U.S. and Israel-Iranian war. I like SOC radar because it provides a lot of context, like graphs, images, like they're pretty detail oriented. It also provides TTP mapping. It provides IOCs. So, you can get a lot of information from this one resource. You can see here, like there's minor tactic techniques, procedures. So Checkpoint has published, including C2 infrastructure. So you can see here, we have some IPs that are probably not linked because I didn't see any 31 or 146 or 82 .IP addresses that are in this list. Yeah. So I think those would probably be, and we can do a quick little search if I just grab, for example, this guy, and we'll go here. All right, so no hits there. That's another one we can look at. Confirm. What's the next step we want to do? We always want to go back in here and validate that it's actually bad, which you can see here. We got 10 vendors from VirusTotal saying malicious, malicious, malicious. I'm going to actually go back. I'm going to grab this link for a reason because I want to show you guys something. So that's the process, right? That's what we're finding. We're catching fish. We're essentially doing the job. If CrowdStrike didn't provide anything, we're literally doing it on our own to see, okay, like how, if we don't have anything in CrowdStrike, can we still actually produce, artifacts, right? That's the key thing to remember here. So I'm going to stop there and I'm going to go back into CrowdStrike for real quick because I want to tell you guys with an IP address, you can just store this in VirusTotal or Abuse IP database, okay? And you can get your results that way. When it comes to domains and URLs, if I put this in VirusTotal right now, it's not producing any results. So therefore, does that mean it's not bad? No, this very well could be bad. There's a redirect. So what I like to do to confirm what this actually does, and Odonis said it earlier, can someone tell me where to find the sandbox within CrowdStrike? And by the way, CrowdStrike's a paid sandbox, but there's other open source sandbox like Joe's, like Hybrid Analysis that you can use. But I do like CrowdStrike Sandbox, the best. So where do I go for that, Adonis or anybody? Come off mute.
So you will go to counter adversary operations in the drop down. You'll click that, and then right under indicators in the third column, it should say sandbox.
Okay.
And then from there, you can paste the URL or domain and then link it to your email, and then it'll email you once it's ready.
Okay, so what I like, you're right, you're 100% right. And what I think I'm going to have to do is I might have to throw an HTTP in front of that. But yeah, start with the, okay. So HTTP : / that should be good now. Okay, cool. So what I like to do is I like to interact with sample. I typically, yeah, you can email the results. I'm not going to click that just for the sake of time right now because it's going to show me the results. Like before, I can see the results before and not need it to be emailed to me. But yeah, you can email the results, sure. But I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. I'm going to leave everything the same. I'm interacting with the sample just so I can click because it's like I want to click and see what's going on. I'm going to hit submit. And then I'm going to let CrowdStrike do its thing. You can see it's loading right here. Sometimes they do crash out. A lot of times if the malware's polymorphic and it doesn't essentially want to be detected by a sandbox. And the way that works is going to, I'm not going to go into that now, but essentially it's malware that essentially knows, okay, this is being detonated within an EDR and not on a host machine. And so it doesn't all the way, it doesn't crash out. It crashes, but doesn't crash out to show you what it does, if that makes sense. So you can see the interactive live session has been initiated. And now, Courtney, we are on a VM, right? Remember how I told you when you do that RTR feature, you can click connect and then you're like on that device. Well, look, basically we're in a device, a computer within a computer. So the reason why we hit interact with that sample is because if you say press OK when you are ready to proceed with the detonation, when I hit OK, it's going to go to that website. That's why we did interactive. So I'm going to hit OK and it's going to go to that website and we're going to see what it does. Oh, okay. Look at that. So the point I'm making, when we put this into VirusTotal, it said nothing. So if somebody is new and they're junior, they would be like, oh, it's clean. It's nothing wrong with it. No, there is something wrong with it. You just didn't actually see what was behind the curtain. Now, if you know anything about this Bitly address, these Bitly domains, they redirect to another domain or URL, right? They're shortening. They're URL shortening services. So if you see Bitly says, this URL has been flagged by Bitly system as potentially harmful. We recommend you close your browser and notify the person who sent it to you. Why was it flagged? It displays a warning link, blah, blah, blah. We don't really care. All we know is that it's bad, right? And so that's the point I was trying to make. And we can literally click finish interactive session, and then it'll bring us to that report of this page, the labels, all the different aspects of the, you'll be notified. Okay, cool. So we can see here, this is pending now. Okay, you can see it's generating the report. There's the URL. That's how you detonate it. Okay, and that's how you get a real full view of what a URL domain's actually doing. Like for example, you can see this is weaponized, this is command and control for the red C2 endpoint APT. So if we throw in like this guy right here, this thing would be doing something wacky too, right? If we submit this guy, this would probably do some strange stuff too. So we probably want to do HTTP colon, oops. Boom, live interact sample, run it. So you can see that report finished right there, completed. We can see, okay, sandbox error. My point in case. Failed to download domain host doesn't exist. You'll be notified. Okay, cool. So a lot of times that does happen, and it can be because, again, some polymorphic malware doesn't want to be detected, and it can determine whether or not it's being detonated on a host machine or on a virtual host on a host, and or it's been taken down. There's a few different reasons why this crashed out. But again, it didn't complete, so obviously that's been down. So here, boom, we got a suspicious label. We can go into more detail and look at all the information that is associated with the sandbox. Any questions on this so far? 37 out of 100. You can see the description. All right, may have a highly similarity with other suspicious samples or direct, so it's a redirect. We can see here. All right, we got some other information here. If you scroll down, you can see the behavioral indicators. So this just it's a malicious link. You can see some process details. You guys, this looks familiar within, CrowdStrike. You can see like the process tree or process table, so to speak. So this, right? And then some screenshots. This is why it's cool to do that interactive, because now I can see screenshots of what happened throughout the interaction. Okay. So if there was like a file being dropped, it would show like the actual file dropping. Okay. It does that a lot of the time, it does. You can see DNS requests. So when we ran this in the sandbox, it called out to this domain at this address, this domain at this address. So this is DNS callouts. So if I throw in, this, I'd want to see, okay, like what's this? Oh, look, it's showing its affiliation with this Lazarus group. Do you guys know what Lazarus group? Who was that? You guys remember that?
North Korean threat actor.
Correct. So you can see that. Okay, cool. So there's some IP addresses here that seem to be okay. That's Amazon, not showing any reputation there. Now, this is how you do it, right? This is end consumer static Azure. So I don't know what this is gonna, this is gonna be. Yeah. Okay. So there's some suspicious sock radar. So anyway, that's how we do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and level set here because we're doing well, but I want to make sure we're so first step we completed because we have access to CrowdStrike. Again, if we didn't have access to CrowdStrike, we would still want to capture the same type of information. Okay, so we would want to capture the detail, the name, all right, the origin of the adversary, the details around their active status, their target, their type, their motivation is important. You can see here they're state sponsored. We talked about that because they're an APT or nation state sponsored adversary, so they're working with the government, they're funded by the government. The targeted industries across the board, the industries they target, the countries that they're targeting, which is the United States and Israel, because this is a true Iranian Middle Eastern adversary. So obviously their target countries are as such. Community identifiers. Now, let's just say, I'm going to make it all make sense. Let's just say we didn't find anything here. We didn't find anything on the actual threat actor name. One of the things that you need to be able to do is pivot to the community identifiers. So I'm going to use this name just because I saw this before and I didn't see the other names. But if you search Hydro Kitten IOCs like Marcus, I think it was, told us to do, and if it wasn't you, Marcus, I apologize, whoever it was. If you do that search and you don't return anything, then the next search that you need to do is you need to do a search on the community identifier or the alias. So if you do Hydro Kitten and nothing pops up for that IOCs, then you move on to this section and you search on those aliases or community identifiers. And you do that until you find something. And every now and again, there will be an instance where you search, you look at the community identifiers, and there isn't any, you can't find anything. And that happens from time to time. But more likely than not, you will. If you search enough, You will. So,
Based off my experience with this, if a threat actor has like, let's say over 4 to 5 community identifiers on GitHub, for example, where they have like an indicators of compromise page with hashes, for example, for most of the time they're using the community identifiers. Like they're never known in the community for their main tag. Usually it's like the fourth or fifth one based off the last few ones I've done.
Exactly. And that's good. It's good observation. So here's just, I'm following that same process, right? You can see here, and there's a way for us to open and see this. I'm just, again, for the sake of time, I'm not going through all of that. So indicator. So you can see here for a downloadable copy of indicators of compromise. See here, you can click on these downloadables. These are from 2023, so a little dated. But again, we're doing the same process that we did earlier. So you can see here, rewardsforjustice.net. Rewardsforjustice.net. Justice reward 10 million information leads to identity, blah, blah, blah. So you can see here, this is from Cyber Avengers. Okay, Near East, North Africa, and the Middle East, up to $10 million reward. What is this, a bounty? Rewards for Justice is offering a reward up to 10 million for information leading to the identification or location of any person who, while acting at the direction or under the control of a foreign government, participates in malicious cyber activities. So basically, if you can help identify a person who is operating with this threat actor group, Cyber Avengers, you can earn up to $10 million. And this looks like it's stamped by the, I don't know, what is this, the FBI and what other agency that is? Can't really see, it's so small. But yeah, so you can see here, there's some more. Oh, wow, look at this. Anyone with information on these folks, individuals, contact the Rewards for Justice via the Tor Tips reporting channel. Okay. Do you guys see this right here? You guys know what this is? Someone tell me what this is.
The Tor browser is a dark web.
Yeah. You guys see this? Do you guys see this?
Wow.
Do you guys know how to access the dark web?
You need the
You
Tor
have to use a
browser.
torrent browser.
You got to use the Tor browser. Now, the reason why we knew this is related to the Tor browser is because it's a .onion extension. So if you ran this on your browser, which you shouldn't, but if you did, you wouldn't be able to reach the website anyway because it's not running on that it's running on the .onion top level domain, not .com domain. So this is what's considered the dark web. All right. And so they're asking you to report it on this channel, Tor browser required. And these are some of the, individuals they've identified. Okay. So just FYI. But yes, that's the process. So we're gonna recap and we're gonna level set and bring it back home so we can move on. So step one is the threat actor profile. We have one from CrowdStrike. Thank you very much. But even if we didn't, we would know exactly what key details we need in order to do what? Build the threat actor profile. Step one. Step two, and identify indicators of compromise. Identifying indicators of compromise associated with the threat actor. Okay, so we did find some on our own, and we also were provided some by CrowdStrike. Okay, what is step three? Validate the indicator of compromise using open source intelligence. Okay, and there's various tools we can use for that. One of which is VirusTotal. Another one is Abuse IP Database. Another one is Talos Intelligence. Another one is a sandbox, right? So there's so many different tools that we can use. But the point is, we need to validate the reputation and confirm that these indicators are in fact blocked. Okay, or excuse me, not blocked, are confirmed malicious, excuse me. And you can see here there's a low reputation score. So, we may not get any hits, but we did get a couple hits before. So if I just go back into, I gotta go pull them back up. Jesus. Okay. Somebody, Adonis, I'm gonna assign you. Adonis, I want you to go ahead and grab a couple of those indicators from that resource that I found. You can just replicate the same search and produce those results. If you have a hard time, let me know. But just for the sake of time, I want to move on to the next step. So we have those indicators of compromise right here. I'm going to go take a different one. For example, I'll take this hash value. I want you guys to see a malicious result. So we'll validate it. All right. There we go. Very, very, very red, blood all over. Red means bad. So you can see here, this is a hash value. This is a string of characters. There's the file name, right? Dot executable. You can see this PEEXE. That stands for what? Does anyone know what this stands for? It's important. So this is the hash value and this is the file name. The only difference between these two things is the appended file extension, which is .exe. .exe stands for executable and PEEXE stands for what?
I forgot. Not gonna lie.
All right, that's fine. It stands for, I believe, portable executable.
Yeah,
Uh,
portable executable,
yeah.
commonly used in intelligence platforms.
There you
Like,
go. Right? So there's a file format used by Windows, execute files. All right. So files for that end in .exe, object code, dynamic link libraries, define structure. So essentially, it's just a way to say it's an executable file. And so you can see here, it's a Trojan. You can see the popular threat label. That's important to notate. And you can see here that there, and then all these different, these are like different antivirus, companies, security vendors. So you probably heard of, Bitdefender, Cynet. You probably heard of, McAfee. You've heard of Sophos. These are, Trend Micro. You've heard a lot of these companies before, right? So Microsoft. So would you guys, Semantic, would you guys, agree this is bad? Google, Fortinet, everyone's pretty much on the same page about this. So
Yeah,
this
those
is
are terrible.
all right, so this is an example. All right, so we validated. So step 1, 2, and 3 are already done. We built the threat actor profile. We identified indicators of compromise within CrowdStrike and externally in the wild. Step 3 is validating the reputation of those indicators across multiple OSINT sources. And if you guys want to see exactly what I mean, I would take this. And what's another tool I can use to validate the hash value? Somebody tell me. Someone tell me. I said it earlier.
use
Joe
IBM.
Sandbox.
For a hash?
You use
Yeah, you can
IBM X-Force or
Huh?
You can put a hash in Joe Sandbox.
And what is it going to do?
It's going to give you an IOC report.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll get a lot more visibility for what the hash is,
No, I
as
can't
opposed to
do
using
that.
Telos.
So yeah, I don't think I can put a hash in here, brother. Not in here.
I
But
use IBM for the other one for Talos. Kyle
okay,
showed
cool.
me a CyberScan.
So I'm just using Talos just to show you guys multiple. So for example, you can see here, it's also coming back as malicious, which is good. Threat score is high confidence. All right. So this is what you want to do for all your sources. You want to get multiple. So that's step 3. We validated the reputation. Step 4. Who could tell me what step 4 is in our threat hunt process? What do we need to do now?
You need to do a CQL search for
A
those
CQL
IOCs.
search. You are absolutely right. So a CQL search, and what module within CrowdStrike do we use to do a CQL search? Who can tell me?
Wait, what
Who
was
can
that?
tell me?
The module.
Who can tell me the module that we use to conduct a CQL search in CrowdStrike?
Should be under the IOC search via advanced event search.
Okay, tell me where to go for that. And Adonis, don't forget, you're validating the reputation of things. So you can focus on that. Somebody else has to drive. Tell me where I'm going.
Oh wait, what do you want me to do? I'm sorry.
I want 3
I was
indicators of each. I want 3 indicators of each type validated as malicious from
okay.
CrowdStrike and in the wild. If you can find 2 or 3 from in the wild, that's great.
I got you.
All right. So where do I go? Someone tell me. We're going to validate the reputation. Excuse me. We're going now to step 4 in our process, which is what? We want to validate that no imminent threat exists within our environment. We built the threat actor profile. We identified indicators of compromise. We validated those indicators in OSINT to confirm their reputation score. Now we know some of these are bad, and we need to look internally behind the curtain, and we need to determine, are these indicators present in our environment? Because just because they're listed in CrowdStrike doesn't mean that they are present in our environment. We got to do a search via CrowdStrike CQL, CrowdStrike query language, and see if it's present in our environment. So what we would do is go into the hamburger menu right here. We go into
And next,
investigate,
you
and then
got
we're going to go all
it's
the way to
in.
advanced event search.
I thought it was a next gen scene.
It's funny. Richard started talking as soon as my mouse was on the area of where we needed to go. It's so funny how he was, yeah. And then I was already I already ran the search, and he started telling me, "I'm messing with you, bro. Appreciate the
But
engagement."
so what's advanced? Well, I'll just click and find it myself then in next gen scene.
What was your question, brother?
No, I was gonna say go to event search in next gen scene cause if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, right there. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. You can get to
I
the
don't know if
same
there's a
place.
difference between the two.
No, it looks like it's the same. So it looks like that module is present in both. So you'd be right. So we're here, advanced event search. This is where we can look and see the events. You can see here, there's an auto event list. So it's just by default, you can see right now. If you've looked in Splunk or in other tools that we have, Defender, you can see here this side field is almost like those special fields in Splunk, right? And here's the raw logs. Here's the raw data, just like we would see in Splunk when we ran a search. Like I tell you guys all the time, the tools don't matter. It's the context that matters, and it's a different GUI. Once you understand what to look for, you can do the same thing across all platforms. And that's how you have a vendor agnostic skill set. And that's how you become non disposable in the future of work and during the AI revolution. We know how to do everything in every tool the same way. All right. So, what I'm going to do is paste this search. And then you'll see here the case function. We're using the case function in remote IP addresses, which is the type of indicator we're looking for. And then we're specifying the values. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click right in between these two quotation marks, and I'm going to hit Shift Enter twice, excuse me, and I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Hold on, let me start over because I didn't like the way that did. Okay, so I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to delete these quotes, and then I'm going to hit Shift Enter. And the reason why I'm doing that is because this is just the way I like to do it to give it a more of a clean, formatting. And now you'll see here, right here, we have to change these parentheses because by default, when you copy and paste from a Google Doc, well, a Google Doc has curly brackets. So if you look and you zoom in, you see those? That right there is not the same type of bracket. Okay, that's not the same type of bracket or quotation mark, I should say, as this. See that? See this, guys? That's not the same. See that? And see this? That's not the same. So we need to manually change it because if you were to run this, and I will to show you, and you guys know this if you've done this already, right? If I was to run this, oh, I copied and pasted. Let me do it again. Hold on. If I run this as is in CrowdStrike, okay, and let's just say I put any indicator. So I'm looking for an IP address, and someone had a question. I think it was Chris. So feel
Yeah, when you have a second.
okay. I got a second. Talk to me.
Okay, so my quick link to the script for this is no longer allowed because it's the old Google Docs.
Got you.
Do you
Okay.
know where it is in the new Google Docs? I'm kind of browsing. I'm just having trouble
So if you
finding
go,
it.
you have the new Google Doc, right? So in the
Yes, sir.
folder, once you're here, you're going to go to CTI. Oh, what did I just do? You're going to go to CTI hunting, and I'm making some changes. As you guys can see, there's some new folders made for counter adversary. Could be a little bit more organized. So you guys stay tuned.
I
But
don't see
CTI threat
CTI
hunting.
hunting.
No?
Number 4 for me is
Because I
investigation
am looking
disposition
in the
standards.
wrong one. I am so sorry. What in the world? I got to get rid of this. Okay, give me 1 second here, folks. I am sorry about that, and I will fix that. So, okay. So, moving too fast, moving too fast. Slow down, slow down. So you don't see this right here?
Maybe I'm looking. I'll look for it. All right, it's number 4 CTI threat hunting. Got it.
Yeah, it should be right here, and then it's right here. IOC search. Yeah, there it is. So I'll help you out. Don't worry. I'll make sure you get squared away.
I
So
found it. Thank you.
okay, cool. So this is the search. If I run this right now, and we always run it for how long? How long do we want to look back in our environment to see if this is present Anybody tell me? Anybody tell me, please, please, please.
Month.
Our threat hunt is on the
But
last 30 days.
30
Last 30
days.
days. So I'm
last
gonna
30
run a
days.
bulk. I'm gonna run a bulk search. Thank you. I'm gonna run a bulk search and grab a couple of these IPs. Okay, I'm gonna grab a couple of these IPs real quick. Okay, so I'm just grabbing a couple. So the way we do this is we just stack them. We stack them, put a comma separated value. Okay, I'm gonna grab another one of these and I'll grab this guy right here. So I'm gonna run this search right here. Now, the last one in the list, you don't have to put a comma. It's the last one on the list. So when I run this for the last 30 days, it's going to fail. And I told you guys it was going to fail because why? Unexpected quotation mark. All right. Straight quotation marks. Humio uses straight quotation. It's a comment for other types of marks to be introduced when copy pasting. So we literally, it's telling you why, but you would just have to know to do this. Okay. There you go. Problem solved. Problem solved. You can see that, and you know it's everything's working now because you can see the color coded. There's blue, there's red, there's white. So you can see here, this is going to work. And what we should get is no results found. And that indicates that this is not present in our environment. Now, if we were to get some hits and there were to be logs here, like we previously saw before we ran the search, then that would be an indication, well, we got some hits, right? So that would be bad. We would have see that. So now look, I'm just running a blank search. That's why it's showing whatever we have in our like just normal data, normal events. So if we got hits after running this search and this populated an event list, that would be an indication that those indicators are present in our environment. And then we would have to drill down a little farther to see, okay, you know, this IP address was communicating, this external IP address was communicating with this internal IP address on this host associated with this user. And then we go ahead and, you know, perform our incident response plan and peel the layers back of the onion. So this is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what we expected. So recapping, okay? And now you would do this across all indicators. So based upon what we're looking at in CrowdStrike, and Adonis is looking at a couple different indicators. So we would do this for the IPs, we would do this for MD5, SHA-256, and domains. We would do it for all indicators, okay? So that would be 4 different searches that we would do, and there they are right there, right? IP search, MD5, we have our SHA-256, and our domain that we would run separately, and we can bulk stack them and confirm, okay? So there's step 4. All right, I'm not going to do all different, you know, again, you would do the same thing if it's a domain. You just grab the domain search and you do the same exact thing. Get rid of these. Control, put you would just go ahead and run. So now we would grab a domain. So in this case, right here, boom, grab this guy, run it, boom. All right, and then, you know, I'm just checking. I want to see. Okay, so there, boom, it's bad. So, boom, we'd run this and hopefully get, okay, change your quotes. See, forget to do that. Syntax is always important. And then run it, and there's no hits, right? So that is step 4. So again, recapping. Step 1, threat actor profile. Step 2, identify indicators of compromise within CrowdStrike and externally in the wild via your own search. Step 3, validate the reputation of each indicator, all right, using multiple OSINT sources. Step 4, conduct a CQL sweep in CrowdStrike via advanced event search module to confirm no imminent threat exists internally in our environment. Step 5, who can tell me what step 5 is once we do that? Who can tell me what step 5 is?
Check to confirm if the IOCs are blocked.
My man. Yo, Marcus, way to be, bro. Way to be. Way to show up when the team needs you. So, where do I go for that? Can anyone tell me?
Advanced event search.
We just did that. I'm gonna pick on somebody. Ooh. Dynasty, hi. It's so good to see you. Can you tell us where we go for that? Where do we go to see if something is blocked in our environment? Because if it's blocked, we don't have to take any action. If it's not, then we got to add it to the what. So Dynasty, can you tell us either by typing in the chat or by just coming off mute and blessing us with your lovely voice and beautiful face and tell us where we go? Ugh, I failed miserably. I failed miserably. I thought I had her. I thought I built her up enough for her to come
Is
off mute and she's
is it IOC management?
okay. Okay. And that is where again? IOC
That
management.
is in
Then
this
endpoint security.
You're such a good
right now.
fellow. You're a good fellow. You know what? You both are right.
No,
So you both are right. Yes, endpoint security and IOC management. So yes, Dynasty, you're right. Thank you. It's so nice to see you. So I hear from you. And yes,
You're
so Dynasty,
welcome.
you're right. Boom. So there you go. IOC management. And it makes sense, right? Because you want to manage your indicators within the endpoint security, right? That's the EDR. That's the whole point of CrowdStrike. So absolutely. And here we are. So the way we would see if this is blocked or not, you can see here, look, indicator type, detect only. Indicator type, these are IPs, detect only. Hash value, block. So right now, just from looking at this, these IP addresses are not going to be blocked if they're seen in our environment. They're going to throw a detection. There's an alert or detection that's going to trigger if these IPs are seen. If these hashes are seen, they're going to be blocked, right? Meaning there's an alert and it's going to show like file blocked, process blocked. That's how this works. So if I search indicator type right here and I paste this domain and I hit apply, we should see that it's not blocked and we could add add a rule to either block it or detect it. So that's why you see no indicators. So this is step 5, checking to see if it's blocked via endpoint security IOC management. And being that it's not blocked, we can move on to what step, Marcus? Step 6 of our threat hunting process. And we can hit add indicators. And what type of indicator is this, everybody?
IOCs. I'm
What
sorry.
type
Hold
of
up.
indicator?
Was it the SHA-256?
Right here, folks. What type of indicator is this?
Domain.
Thank you. Domain. And then we'll what? Manually add the domain. There we go. Put a description. So, we could put a description. Again, one thing I would say to do if we want to put a description is go ahead and run this domain. So if we want to run this domain, just go ahead and http:// interact. Let's just see what it does. Because if we don't know, like if I just put this here, this is not much of a description. It just says malicious. Like I don't really have a description for it. It's malicious, but that's not much. So to get more of a description on what it does, I actually got to detonate it in a sandbox, and you can see here, there's not. It's
Question.
failed to download. Yeah,
Step 4, you obviously can't do MD5 and SHA-256 at the same time, but for step 5, are you allowed to put them in at the same time?
no. So that's a great question, and I've been asked that before a lot, and I asked that question actually previously, in one of my other roles where I was like, hey, how are we gonna, manually do this is gonna take forever. And they were like, well, yeah, we can't really do anything about it right in crowd. There's another way to do it. It just again, for the sake of time, and also here's another thing. What I'm most familiar with is this process. Now, if you notice, when we were looking at those IP addresses, those IP addresses were not set to block. They were set to detect. So you're not going to block every indicator in the same tool. Certain indicators, for example, your IP addresses will be blocked in a different tool. So, and for everybody here on this call, you're not going to need to block 100 of these different indicators on one shift. A handful is fine, which is why doing it manually is okay for the sake of what it's worth. But yeah, so for IP addresses, for example, those would be blocked at the firewall level and not maybe your EDR. You can send a detection here, but there's that. So for the description, I'm just going to put malicious link for the sake of time. I want all hosts. I want it to literally be blocked on all hosts. And I'm going to select the platform Windows, Mac, and Linux operating systems. And the action is going to be, again, detect. We can't block the domain within CrowdStrike. So if any user interacts with this domain, if any host interacts with this domain, it's going to trigger an alert. and it doesn't matter what operating system because all hosts have it turned on. Severity, we're going to put to high, or you can put it to critical, whatever you feel is an appropriate label, and you can go based on the actual like reputation. This is, I would consider this like a high because it's 14 out of 90 something. All right, so there's that, and then you can hit add domains. Once we hit add domains, we just now moved on to the last step, okay? Because we checked if it was blocked step 5, it wasn't. We added it manually to the IOC block list. There it is. So now by default, what we just did is we now shrunk the attack surface because we proactively blocked an IOC and prevented it from being exploited. So what we just did in those few clicks is we hardened the security posture of the company and shrunk the attack surface to prevent future exploitation, future potential exploitation. Okay, I'm going to say that again. What we just did by adding this indicator to the IOC management block list is we just hardened the company and the client's security posture by adding this indicator. So by default, we shrunk the attack surface to prevent future potential exploit of these indicators. And companies pay 6 figures for you to do what we just did because we just prevented a hack before it took place. That is proactive security. That is proactive threat hunting. That is a 6-figure skill set in cybersecurity. And now the last step of our 7-step threat hunting process is writing the report. All right. We got to the final stage. It's 8:30. And we can now go into SockBite and we can actually write this report. So we have a template for that. If someone wants to put it in the chat, that'd be great. I am going to take a 1-minute bathroom break and I will be right back. But if those of you who are on the call can just drop the template, Richard or Donna, somebody, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. I just need to run to the restroom and grab a drink of water. And
When you come back, I'll have the links in the chat of the indicators I found online.
Perfect. Thank
for
you so
Hydro
much.
Kitten.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Okay. So just give me 1 second and I will be right back.
Why
Why
did
is it so
the
quiet?
I was about to say, why did the tomato turn
Oh.
red? Because it saw the salad dressing.
Oh man, you ready for your jokes on Thursday?
I can't keep up.
Oh, between I guess Adonis or Richard or anybody, anyone already started the template?
Nah, I'm working on some right now.
Trying to get my laptop to load faster.
I've been working on my own threat hunt this entire time.
Yeah, facts.
I
He's like
actually
grabbing
Same,
me.
same thing.
I actually just posted my threat hunt for the on here.
My bad, Marcus. I didn't get a chance to review yours. I had a lot of stuff going on over the weekend.
It's fine. I figured like if I just at least put it on Sockbite or anything, I could like at least get my stuff up there at least.
Yeah, I hear you. Did you still need me to look at it?
You can because I'm actually I just put it in Sock today, so I could probably just give you the downloaded one this time instead of the actual document and let me know what I need to fix up.
Oh no, you can still give me if it's the same doc, I can still take that.
It's
But
the same doc.
Okay, so I'll look at that. But I have to drop, guys. I have to go do something before it gets too late. So I will see everybody tomorrow.
Have a good night, sir.
Night, bro.
All right. Good night. Why won't you load up? There we go. I just gotta... I think this is a template for the threat hunt.
All right, guys. We are about to take this thing home.
Will, I just put a template for a threat hunt. Do you let me know if that's a good template? And also let me know if everybody can, if you can edit it too.
This looks pretty good. Is this?
Yeah, this is the threat hunt one.
Richard, is this the one?
Richard dropped.
Richard dropped.
Yeah. I know I got this one from Odonis a while back. So I've been
Yeah,
using
this
it.
is the one that we made, Will. This one's the right one.
Okay.
All right, make sure I get.
All right. All right, so let me go ahead and
And what I'll do is I'll paste the links that I put in the chat in the reference section.
That's
one.
And then okay, I wanted to there we go. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. And we will jump right back in. Can you guys still hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah. Crystal.
All right. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and bring this home. Adonis, you said you got a couple indicators. Go ahead and add them to that report. And we'll go ahead and get these things added and make it look pretty. All right, so you guys should be able to see my give me a second here. Sorry about that. Yeah, I should be able to see my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you
Yes.
see? Can you see my? Can you see my split screen up here with Sockbite and the document?
No, I don't see the split screen.
No.
Okay, so
sorry. One more second. Let me try this one more time. Okay, I was sharing the wrong one. So. This is the problem with having so many monitors. All right, let's try. Sorry, let me try this again. Okay.
Okay, now I see the split screen.
All right, cool. So, all right, cool. So here we are. So we have a template that we use, and again, this has been carefully curated by me from just doing this so many different times over. So we're going to go ahead and just start filling in. So on what's today's date? So today's what, the 16th? So on 6/16/2026 at what time is it now? It is 8:41. 1 p.m. Eastern time. Let me just say site authority. Site authority conducted a threat hunt focused on threat actor, and then we can go ahead and put the name. Okay, so threat actor. What was the name of this threat actor, guys?
The Hydro Kitten.
Hydro Kitten. All right. Focused on threat actor. Hydro Kitten. And do me a favor, please don't just copy and paste it. Write it out neatly. You guys know I'm a OCD. All right, Hydro Kitten covering activity within the past 30 days. Okay, that's fair enough. Conducted a threat hunt focused on threat actor Hydro Kitten covering activity within the past 30 days. During this hunt, a total of, I know for a fact there were 85 indicators that we confirmed within CrowdStrike. Okay, yep. Excuse me, 85 indicators plus however many we found.
Most of them were IPs.
Right. So I'm gonna just add now,
Yeah,
Donna, the one that you're adding right here, you confirm those are not in CrowdStrike?
no, these are all on the reference sheets.
3, 4,
And
5,
then the 2 hashes
6,
as well.
7, 8. Okay, so we're gonna basically say it's not 85, it's 93, even though there's more than that. Okay, a total of 93 indicators are compromised. During this hunt, a total of 93 indicators of compromise were identified, including domains, right? URLs, but I'm not going to list those because we have domains. So IP addresses, there were no email addresses. This is why it's important to edit the template. You don't want to just say emails if there were no emails. File names we won't put because there were no file names associated, and file hash values, right? All right, so we have so what was it? Domains, IPs, file hash values, and then I'll put here MD5 and SHA-256 to specify the exact type. These indicators were aggregated from CrowdStrike, internal telemetry, and additional intelligence sources referenced in this report. All identified indicators of compromise were enriched using OSINT and threat intelligence platforms to validate their reputation. Analysis confirmed that the indicators are associated with malicious activity. And I think we can add here, malicious activity that originates from, where does it originate from? Here, Iranian Middle East. I just think it's a nice little, addition, right? Originates from Iran, Middle East. A CrowdStrike query language advanced event search was conducted across the environment to identify any evidence of activity related to these indicators. No matches or suspicious activity were observed, confirming no current or historical presence within the environment. Do you guys see how how this outline, this skeleton walks through each step of the threat hunt? Do you kind of see how that's what this template does? We start with the profile. We start with the indicators we discovered. We validated in OSINT. We conducted the CQL sweep. You guys see that's literally steps 1 through 4. Very, very clear and direct. It's very, very bottom line up front. As a preventative measure, the validated malicious IOCs have been added to the IOC management block list to mitigate potential future exposure. That's that shrinking of the attack surface. That's a super valuable sentence. This proactive control strengthens the security posture and reduces the attack surface. Again, I said that. Okay. Yeah. Based on the investigation analysis performed, no impact to the environment has been identified and no further action is required at this time. So therefore, there's our analysis, our summary right there. That's beautifully written, clearly defines what we did. And again, that'll answer a lot of questions from management, from senior stakeholders on, hey, what did we do? How did we approach this? What happened? So now we have targeted industries. I'm just going to copy and paste that from the report. Simple enough. Oh, make sure you hit Shift Command V to keep that formatting. All right. And if you're on a Windows, you might want to do Control Shift V to paste that so it looks nice. Targeted countries, same thing. I'm going to grab that from CrowdStrike. One second. Sorry, right here. Okay. So I'm going to grab that right here. You don't need to bold it. And then lastly, our community identifiers, which there were a bunch. All right. Always remember to do that search on all community identifiers. If you don't see anything for the threat actor name or the first one, you got to go through them all. It's your best chances of finding. So here we go. Look at this. Starting to really fill out nicely. All right. We have some IOCs now. You can see, all right, that Adonis already started doing for us. He's specifying the specific type. So this is a way to format it. So we have hashes, we have IPs, we have URL domains, we have remediations, and now our references. So we're almost there. Do you have those associated with phishing?
Yeah, I just put that as a small comment just for everybody to see like what came up when I scanned them.
Cool.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
Go
you
ahead.
got it.
Okay, another thing I want to point out on the template because I forgot to add it or whatnot. Like impacts and affected products. Like on the original template is not on there, and I keep having to add it every time I make a new document. I meant to add that to this because don't we have to always put affected products and impact on there as well? We're putting on SockBite.
Well, I'm gonna show you right now. That's a good point, Marcus. So when you guys are in SockBite, you can see my screen. We're gonna go into threat intel and reports. And then we're going to hit create report. And is this an advisory or an alert?
It's an alert.
Okay, so if it's an alert, you'll see here, these are the fields that we have to fill out. And an advisory is going to be slightly different. That's where you have affected products and impact. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, there is still affected products and impact for an alert. Okay, so no worries.
Yeah, I did that because I just put a threat hunt on here, and I realized that impact and affected products on there. So I was going to add that to the template and just create a new one.
This is the naming convention for these threat hunts. So you'll use threat hunt, the pipe symbol, and then the threat actor name. So that'll be our report title. Everyone see that? Yeah. Subtitle I like to put is the origin. So I like to use this as the subtitle. Yeah, I see that. The source we can say is really anything. Like, for example, the source could be through CrowdStrike, but it's really not. There's multiple sources, right? We use CrowdStrike, so I don't mind if you guys use multiple sources or if you want to just use CrowdStrike, totally okay with me either way. But again, there's multiple options, right? So you can just pick whichever one you feel like, right? If most of our indicators came from one particular, let's say there wasn't a CrowdStrike profile, you wouldn't put CrowdStrike, right? Even though we're using CrowdStrike for a lot of the analysis, investigation steps that we would, validation, additional telemetry, and searches. If there wasn't a threat actor profile in CrowdStrike, you wouldn't put CrowdStrike. You would put whatever article. You can put multiple sources. If you found some intel articles, you can put other. Just if you found everything came from a CISA article, then you can put CISA. For now, I'm going to just put CrowdStrike for now. All right, our analysis summary. I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste what we have so far. So I'm going to copy right here because this is going to be everything included in our analysis summary from the date. Did not mean to do that. From the date all the way down to the community identifier. So I'm going to paste that here. Okay, you can see here, it kind of messes up the spacing. So I just want to make sure I space it out. Nice and neat. Looks beautiful. Very well written. Thanks to our team for being such professionals. All right. This looks really good. All right. And that's pretty much it. You guys see that? See how this is coming together? This is looking really good. This is looking really good. All right. So moving on to affected products. Um, I feel like at one point in our investigation, we came across like a malware family variant that said something about, for example, let's see something here. Where was it? Where was it? Was it Sock Radar? Um, I think it was Sock Radar.
Can you share that Saga Radio link,
Yeah,
please?
yeah, no problem. There you go. Explicitly signal financial center intent, dark storm move against nearly bank state three historic precedent, alibi. Um, hmm. Hydro Kitten, dark storm, no name, financial services. Is it just this one? There's another one. Okay, yeah, it was just this one. Um, Key Iranian ABD moves, abilities. What's this? Oh, it's nothing. Okay. So there was another. I feel like there was a. Let me keep going here. One of these articles. Yeah, one of these articles had like I felt like a some sort of malware family variant that I think was affiliated with some sort of affected product. It's the affected product field, I would say, is more applicable to like the advisories. Yeah. So, um, so what we can do, and I'm okay with it, is if we can use chat to see. I just wanted to see if there was anything I can pick up real quick. Critical infrastructure, renew interest in critical infrastructure. Unit 42 is like Palo Alto's, threat hunting team. If you guys didn't know, similar to like, CrowdStrike's. Okay, Palo Alto networks can receive protections from mitigations of relevant threat actor activity through the following products and services. Okay, so this is just saying, okay, conflicting domains. Okay, I think we're targeted impersonation. Bank masquerading, brand targeting, status, DLC, info steal infrastructure. Okay, delivers, payloads, okay. So I don't think we have to go too in detail here on this. Um, where was it? I feel like I saw something. I don't know why I'm not able to.
I shared a link in the chat of what ChatGPT says their affected product was Unitronics Vision Series PLC line of industrial controllers.
Okay, I remember something like along the lines of okay, yeah, something like this, right?
Yes.
Okay, this doesn't have the threat actor named in here, so this is just um like this just says like Iranian government affiliated cyber actors exploit PLCs in multiple sectors, including U.S. water and wastewater system facility. This is old. This is 2 years old. I'm not even gonna look at this right now. Was it one of these articles?
Says they had a 2026 campaign, a CVE related to it for
Yeah, yeah,
Rockwell
yeah.
Automation.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that sounds like more. Where are we at? Which one are we looking at here? Hydro Kitten likely upgrades destructive toolset updated wiper and go-based Zodiac rat targets Israeli engineering. Deployed Zodiac rack and updated Scratch Wiper variant to use Israeli firm, demonstrating that the Iran Nexus actors are continuing to target Israeli critical infrastructure. Both malware variants, again, show a significant technical evolution, provides remote access, data exfiltration, organizations. Okay, so what was, did you put that in the chat, Courtney? Because what I would say for this part we can do, it's like more relevant towards um, CTI reports and advisories, as opposed to like the affected products. But let's just say like we did make that correlation between a particular indicator of compromise that took advantage of a vulnerability within an affected product. If we've, mapped those order of events, then we could definitely list it. We didn't from what we did so far, so that's why I would say like we can just chat GPT it and see what it says. Did you put in the chat? Let me go ahead and grab that real quick.
I dropped it in the chat, but I also put the link that chat gave as like it cited its source. So it's from Tenable, and that specifically lists that Rockwell automation that I mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I see their name, which is good. So, um, and that Rockwell, what you're saying is
It's from 2026. Rockwell Automation Logics with an X on the end instead of CS controllers. It's in phase 4. If you keep going down just a little bit more.
yeah, what are you talking about? Exploiting Rockwell automation PLCs across. Okay. And you said keep going down more?
Yeah, a little bit more. It'll tell you the phases of this actor. And in phase 4, it breaks down what happened in 2026. Yep.
Okay, cool. Pivot exploiting this, a critical authentication bypass vulnerability, 9.8 CVSS. Rockwell automation logics controllers. Do we know what that's used for? So, what is this? What is this? So this is a flagship family programmable automation controller under the Allen Bradley brand. They're widely used across industrial manufacturing to control complex machinery, process systems, and safety applications. Do you guys know what the top three most targeted industries are for cybercrime? Top three most targeted industries? I think we talked about this before. I just think it's relevant to mention right now.
Finance.
Nope.
Healthcare.
Government.
Healthcare,
Healthcare is number
industrial.
one.
Political.
Government.
Yeah,
Utilities.
So the two that are kind of tied for first, neck and neck, are healthcare and manufacturing, because manufacturing is like so automated. Clearly, you can see here, like this Rockwell automation controller is some sort of like programmable automation control under the Allen Bradley brand, widely used across industrial manufacturing control machinery. So manufacturing has a lot of machines, and a lot of stuff is like run by these like controllers and whatnot that are tech enabled. So that's a huge target. So I would say manufacturing and healthcare are neck and neck for number one most targeted industry in cybercrime. The second one would be if you manufacturing healthcare, then it would be, I think I heard someone say it, government.
Yes.
Government would definitely be another one. And believe it or not, education. And if you notice, like a lot of these different industries are industries that don't have a lot of like resources. For example, education institutions, they're not putting a lot into their cybersecurity, right? Governments, it's crazy because you would think the government's funded, got all the money in the world, which they do, allegedly. They're not too there. You'd be surprised how a lot of like local, governments, state governments are like behind when it comes to like their tech. So, yeah, just a fun fact, cybersecurity damages across the board exceed $10.5 trillion year over year. So if you were to measure cybersecurity damage in terms of GDP, it would be the third largest economy after the US and China. Just think about that. $10.5 trillion was stolen last year in 2025. And that number is up from 3 trillion in 2016, 6 trillion in 2021, 8.5 trillion in 2023, and then 10.5 trillion last year. So it's constantly climbing. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll add this just because this looks pretty good. And let me go ahead and do this too as well. If I go into chat and I'm gonna just say, let me provide our context here. Adonis, how you doing?
What was that?
How you doing, bro?
Good.
Things going
What do you
well?
mean? Are you asking like
Yeah, just any developments on your end from the IOCs or anything else we need to go ahead and just add? Or are we good? I just want to make sure we're on track for time. We're 9 o'clock, so perfect. What am I looking
yeah,
for?
we're good.
Okay, so we just finished
Just hit 9.
following Brett Hunt. We are missing the affected, what was it? Products and impact. I think for the following there. Hydro Kitten. All right, let's just put this here and then we can go ahead and add. I'm going to drag this guy. All right, so you can add the following sections to your thread. So we have some affected products, primarily targeting industrial control systems. So this is very much in line with what you just shared with us, Courtney. Operational technology and internet connected infrastructure devices, including so industrial control systems, which is literally that Rockwell device we were just looking at. Operational environments. Okay, cool. SCADA systems, programmable logical controllers. Okay. So the Rockwell Automation is actually listed here, so that's good. I'm gonna grab that, and that's from Hacker News. Looks like it's from Hacker News, so I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna add this into our hunt, and I don't need this. Okay, and I believe this doesn't have to be. Does this have to be comments? Oh, enter. So let me go ahead. Affected products, one per line. Okay, so. Hydrogen target, including, and then we can, yeah, okay. This is good. Okay, that looks good. And what else do we have? Impact, Hydro Kitten, destructive and disruptive, Iranian state-sponsored threat actor. Let's see. Their operations are designed to cause operational disruption rather than traditional espionage alone. Documented and assessed impacts include distributed denial of service, website defacement. This is from CrowdStrike. I'm gonna grab these, add them into our report. Hopefully that's good. And I do want, I don't know if it's gonna give us an error. We'll see. We'll just see. I'm gonna throw this at the top here. I want to see because it says one line, so we may have an error there. We'll just see. All right, for the MD5s, do we have those here?
We have one, yeah.
We have one. Okay, I'm gonna add a couple more just because I want to make it. I want to make it a little juicier than that. So here we go. We can just put NA for SHA-1 for IP addresses. We have a gang of them, so I'm gonna go ahead and add those. All right, one by one. Is that right? That looks good. And URLs, I don't think we have any. Domains.
I believe if you put NA in there, it's going to give you an error.
Shouldn't. All right, we'll see.
I had put like I didn't put NA on the stuff that I didn't have, and it still was able to go through. It didn't give me no errors on those.
Really?
Yeah, so I didn't know we had to. Is that what we're supposed to do like every time if we don't find anything?
That's what I do, yeah.
Okay.
Just so that it's not left blank. All right. I'm gonna grab a couple more just for this sake of doing that. think we grab, what do we grab here? So, oh, close that. All right, so this guy, where's my, there we go. Okay, is this different? Okay, this looks different. Ending in 57D, 57D, 57D. Okay. All right, like 3 of these. So I'll grab this one. Perfect. Okay, so that's good. And 2 more. The more that you can provide, the better, obviously. So we can provide, 5. There's another one. Put this as an MD5. And let's go back here. Almost done. Let's grab this guy.
The way you can navigate through your tabs with all of those open is crazy.
Yeah, that's duplicate. Um,
It's a skill he developed over years of doing it.
oh, no, I just organized the tabs, but yeah, this is insane. Like, look at all this. Who the heck? What? 7-4. Like, this is insane, right? Who's doing this? Okay, so let me go ahead and close some of this stuff out. Cool. All right, I just want to grab a couple more. SHA-256. I want 5 of each. That kind of be all right. So this one's not showing them, and I don't even like for the sake of it. I want you guys to always make sure that you're putting MD5. Let's see if this one's bad. Come on.
You said 5. O'Donnell's gonna put 10.
That's good. I'm okay with that. That's fine. I'm just
Nah, yeah, I was waiting for you guys to finish up so I could show you what I found. Because I was doing a
oh
threat
well then
hunt.
damn what you found some stuff. Why don't you share it?
Nah, yeah, I was doing a threat hunt like independently while you guys were doing this. And I found a GitHub with like over
Oh
1,000, like over 200
yeah.
IPs, 200 hashes, over 200 domains.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
It's
Exactly. All right,
crazy.
cool.
But like it's crazy because like I didn't want to interrupt you, but this was under the last identifier. Like this one had like 12 identifiers, and on GitHub it's titled under the last identifier. So like let's just say I gave up and said, "Oh, I can't find nothing." I would have never found this.
Okay, show us in 2 minutes. We're gonna the only thing left for us to do, everybody, is these remediations. Okay, so what we'll do is we already kind of remediated a lot of we already remediated the indicators by adding them to the IOC blocklet. Excuse me. But what I'll do is I'll just put like, for example, we got common target. Okay, so the only thing left really is if I say, okay, all of the following has been recorded in our hunt. The IOCs have, and this they are it already is known, right? Because we should have been added to the IOC block list via endpoint security with IOC management. So pretty much good to go. I hope this saves, guys. I hope this saves. So let me go ahead and just be proactive and just do this real quick because I don't want to be in a position where I try to do this and it just for whatever reason crashes out. So I'm going to be proactive about this. And if it does, we can just easily, okay. So we are good to go. We are good to go. All right. Where are we at with it? Cool. I've been threat hunting, has been blocking action, but already completed. I would avoid recommending extensive remediation activities and implied compromise found. Instead, focus on the preventive hardening recommendations that align. Okay. Hydro was identified in the environment. The following preventive measures are recommended. Continue monitoring. So these are good. So basically, it's just saying, hey, since we already did the blocking, we don't need to imply compromise was found. That imply compromise recommend I would avoid. Yeah. So we already did the blocking, so there was no compromise found. Focus on preventative hardening and monitoring recommendations aligned with their known targeting internet-facing IOCs. So basically, additional recommendation, although no evidence has been a malicious activity related to Hydro Kitten was identified. The following preventive measures are recommended. So continue monitoring for their, published indicators, maintain IOC blocking within CrowdStrike, review and validate exposure of internet-facing acts, including VPN gateways, firewalls, ensure critical infrastructure, right? Verify MFA. This is all good, generic, these are things that, these are just hygiene essentials. Like for example, enable MFA. Like, oh, come on. Of course, we need to be doing that. We're not going to provide all this additional context. I could say we can grab a couple of these things. So like maybe like this. Let's see, verify MFA, enforce remote access accounts. Yes. Privileged account, confirm endpoint detection. EDR coverage is active across all systems because we were seeing Defender sensors being disabled. Monitor authentication logs. This is all good, generic. I guess we can add it. Review existing detection on our remote access. Continue periodic threat hunting. Okay, I'm cool with that. We don't need the other stuff. Anyone have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Adonis, think we're good to go here on this. Is there any things we need to probably get rid of?
Looks good.
Continue third hunting validate screen match the framework. These are apply. Yeah, this is, I mean, this is good. This is good. I'm okay with this. Okay. So let's try to publish this and see if you're right, Courtney. Let's see if it gives us an error or if we are good to go. Oh, okay. IOC value did not match type of URL. So it's saying, what does it not want? Let's see if I just remove that one per line. Okay. URL. Okay. You were right, Courtney.
I only know that because Jeffrey was having that problem when he was trying to publish a report and Richard fixed it for him.
Okay. I've put NA before. Okay, there we go. So I've put NA before and there weren't. So now let me go ahead and arrange split view. How do I reverse this? I don't want the split view anymore.
The second one, and then separate.
Okay, cool. There we go. All right. So now you guys can see the screen still?
Yes.
All right. So here we go. We got our summary, impact, affected products, IOCs. It looks so cool. All right, cool. So it just basically voids out. Okay, I see. It's not even listing them. Remediation. And there we go. There we have it, folks. Looks really good. Looks really good. I like this. And now what we can do is obviously we can close it out once we're done, but this is what it'll look like when we're all said and done. That is threat hunting in a nutshell. We got our cover sheet, everything that we need here, all these details. All right, subcategory, our analysis summary. Okay. We have our target industries, countries, identifiers, the impact, affected product. This should say products. Indicators of compromise. This is awesome. Everything looks defanged. Thank you, Adonis. Yep. And our remediations. Okay. Looks good. Awesome. So we can download this and we can get this cracking. I'm going to download that and post it. All right, guys. There we go. Threat hunting in a nutshell. Questions, comments,
Here,
anything?
I'm gonna send a request to share my screen just so I can show you guys. what I was
Yeah,
talking
man.
about. I'll be quick
I,
too because I know we're past time.
I will
No,
say
yeah.
this. After finally putting a threat hunt on Sockbite and actually doing this repeatedly over and over again, I feel way more confident in doing a threat hunt, and I now understand why you love threat hunting so much. I think it might be my favorite thing we do.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Look at
Yeah,
this. Look, it took me long to get this, but look at this, bro. You literally don't have to
yeah,
go nowhere, bro.
Hmm.
Look at
yeah.
all these domain, and then look,
You
if
know
you
what
go
those are?
down,
You know what those .ru domains are for?
what are they?
.ru is Russian domains.
Russia.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hashes,
Yeah.
IPs.
So you see how like stumbling just upon this one resource like is a gold mine, but there's so many like there's literally so many other resources outside of what threat actor is this? And this is from Palo Alto Networks Unit 42. So they're their threat hunting team, like counter adversary operations,
Right here. Yep.
right? Unit 42. What threat actor is this for? This is for
This is
Primitive
for
Bear.
primitive bear, and
Yeah.
the hashes were associated with Trojans.
Yeah, look at that. This is really good. Look how thorough you did a really thorough job on this.
Yeah, I was talking
Really
to
good.
Moise about this. Like me and him have the same issue where we over type, we over explain. So I've
It's
been
all
working
good.
on simplifying that.
Remember, bottom line up front. Bottom line up front, bro. That's
Yeah.
the most important acronym because a lot of like, for example, I mean, you want to be detail oriented, of course. You want to be detail oriented in all your investigations, but you have to make sure that your reporting skills that they read clearly. You have to take you have to take technical, complex terms and you have to turn it into human readable language because these reports, they get attributed into a weekly and monthly SOC report that ends up on your CISO's desk, and he has to take that to the CTO and CEO. So the work that we do, it does go to the C-suite executives. It doesn't just like sit in like a queue or in like a ticketing system. Like all of these data sets, all these data points, like these reports, these alerts, they get aggregated and they get attributed to weekly, monthly reports that get sent to C-suite executives and stakeholders. This is what gets discussed in quarterly meetings when they have to allocate budgets for new tools, building larger teams, projections. So you know, cybersecurity is the front line of defense and backbone to every single organization that's operating on planet Earth. It's a fact. SpaceX just went public the other day. SpaceX just went public and Elon Musk became the first trillionaire.
Yeah, that
If
was
you don't
crazy.
think that they're concerned with cybersecurity when they're sending satellites into space and building satellite based data centers, you'd be definitely mistaken. So yeah, this is awesome. And Adonis, like producing a report like that, that's incredible. Like being able to provide like all that context and like, hey, look, guys, look at these are 1,000 different attack vectors that we just found, and we're eliminating that risk and those threats before they have the potential to be exploited and essentially like impact us as an organ. That's a great companies pay big bucks for that. Direct hunting's in every on every team's radar. All companies are concerned with it. If they're not already doing it, they would like to be doing it. So you will be asked in an interview, what's your approach to threat hunting? And if you could remember those 7 steps to threat hunting, if you can remember the 7 steps to threat hunting, you're golden. The 7 steps to threat hunting: building threat actor profiles, okay? Identifying indicators of compromise, validating the reputation source in OSINT, various OSINT sources, conducting an internal audit within the environment to see, hey, is there any imminent threat that exists here? Confirming if those IOCs are in fact blocked, and if they are not, adding them to your IOC block list, whether it be in the EDR or other tools, and then writing up a report on your findings, summarizing all of the steps that we just took. If you can replicate that, you're golden. And that's why I love threat hunting, because it's something new every day. You don't get repetitive. It's maybe a similar workflow, but you're looking at new threat actors, different exploits, different indicators of compromise. there's always going to be a new avenue or attack vector. And so it's our job to try to find it and patch it before those things even come into fruition. All right. Any last minute questions before we call it? Great work tonight, folks. Give yourself a round of applause. Great job, everybody. Appreciate that engagement. Everybody did a good job contributing. Make sure you continue to get your reps in. Make sure you continue to do your, your mock interviews. Stay active on LinkedIn, support one another. I'm gonna go ahead and post this threat hunt on my LinkedIn. I'm happy to tag you guys. If you guys want to also post it as well, you can, feel free. But I'm going to go ahead and post that on my LinkedIn. I'm actually going to post it here now. Actually, I think it'll be worthwhile posting it now. It's 9 o'clock and this is what we should be doing, right? So, yeah, you guys make sure you go show love. Appreciate that. Go show love on a post. Does anybody have any last minute go backs, questions, comments before we call it night? Is it starting to make a little bit more sense now? Like, are you guys starting to like get it and like feel more confident that you can actually like go through and essentially like replicate the steps that we just took on your own? Is that, you know, you guys feeling that? Courtney,
I'm gonna try tonight,
Marcus?
so I'll let you know.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
for
I
those,
love threat hunting, man. It's my honestly that and incident response keeps me stimulated.
yeah,
Yeah, it keeps my because obviously I don't know. I feel like I need stimulation in my brain or I get bored. There's no way you get bored in this field. There's no way.
yeah,
There's always something to do.
that's a fact. There's always something to do. And it's I don't see how this skill set can be like 100% automated or there can't be any, you know, there won't be any human intervention. So,
Yeah, because man,
yeah,
I be using like I try not to rely on AI like you said. I only use it if needed. And even then, like when I'm proofreading, I'm like this little shit just snuck something in my report. You know what I mean? This little AI, messed up and it's like although it helps us, it's like we need to be able to know how to use it, proofread it, things like that.
listen, AI hallucinates all the time. Uh, and
Yeah.
it's up to us to make sure that we're overseeing the AI. Like cybersecurity cannot be 100% automated. There's aspects of cybersecurity, maybe level one triage and enrichment that can be automated, and it should be. Because do we want to be looking up? Like you just found 1,000 indicators. We don't got time to validate 1,000 indicators, so you got to write a script for that, right? That has to be something that can be automated so that we're not stuck manually having to run all those. I mean, I've come across threat actor profiles that have 1 million or 2 million indicators of compromise associated with them. Maybe they're not all from the last week, but that's a lot. You know what I mean? So, this is why we have to focus on some of the higher impact tasks like threat hunting,
Agreed.
you know? I'm making this post for you guys on LinkedIn. You guys are going to see this, and I think it's important. Like, all I did was go into ChatGPT. I literally used the same, the same channel, the same chat, and I said, "Hey, what was my?" I said, "Create a high-level LinkedIn post to share the work we just went over, short and sweet, sharing findings and maximize engagement and impressions." Right. So that's what I'm due, and it's short and sweet. Another proactive threat hunt completed, just straight to the point, high level, focusing on the technical work, not trying to, you know, tell the whole story. Like if they want to see like the work that we did, like obviously like people can do that. And yeah, I would appreciate the analyzing 30 days activity validating that it can source from intelligence feed, OSINT and telemetry, key findings are pasted below. And I don't really like emojis like that. I feel like kind of makes the post look cheap. 93 indicators, enterprise-wide threat hunt. No evidence current or block list, create more strength in proactive threat hunting is about finding threats. It's about continuously validating assumptions, reducing exposure, sharing the environment. Boom. Threat hunting. I probably put like, I don't know, like let's see, like 6 max. I try not to put too many, and each algorithm has like their own I want to say like their own like preference when it comes to how many. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. If I get rid of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And then I can go ahead and add my, can I add this one? Let's see. No, I have to go. I think I gotta go here. Is it file? Should be something
Yeah,
like
file for the full PDF
yeah, add a document. Choose.
document.
There we go. Is this? There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and rename this. Threat hunt. Hydro Kitten. Boom. And yeah, there we go. Hydro, spell it right at least. All right, there we go. Hit done. And that's it. And you guys need to do this. Look, this week I conducted, see that? Ownership. Tell me about a time when you took ownership, Adonis. Tell me about a time when you took ownership, Chris. Tell me about a time when you took ownership, Ashley. Like, this is where you get to now. Because now, look, if I have to speak about something, yeah, I'm going to speak about something that's super relevant that I just did last week. Right? Make sense?
Yeah.
Short and sweet, to the point, nothing too in detail, high level, bottom line up front, you know? And yeah, appreciate if anybody wants to go and show love to the post. Feel free to use this as well. You guys can do the same thing. You don't have to, you can take this report. We all did it together. So you can take this report and make it your own. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. And then I can go like this. I would come in here because guess what? I'm proud of this. I'm proud of the work that we just did. And I want to add a document. I want to add my threat actor profile that I just did. And I want to feature it on my profile. All right. Because I'm super proud of the work that we just did. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just say, okay, look, give me a 2-sentence summary of our hunt for my LinkedIn profile featured article. There you go. There you go. Obviously, proofread everything. Don't just post some bullshit. So, conducted a proactive threat hunt, focused Iranian threat, Hydro Kitten, Cyber Avengers, analyzing 93 validated compromise, until no evidence of militia was identified, and all confirmed indicators were broken. CrowdStrike. Boom. Right there. Look at that. Now, when a recruiter comes to my page, right? If you guys go to my page, I'll just click on Courtney. I like picking on you. If I go here and I see, oh shit, look, Courtney, she was active yesterday. What was she doing? Oh wow, she's speaking that technical talk. She's talking that talk. And look, would you stop hung after you blocked the credential dumper? The attacker didn't. Boom. And now I can see, okay, wow, she's doing something here. She's actually in the field doing the job. Way to redact. Good job, Courtney. So right here, it's like the whole screenshot's redacted.
I was gonna delete the screenshots because chat said that I shouldn't be posting any file paths, and all of those screenshots had file paths.
Yeah, because in the file path, what do you have? Desktops, users, like revealing information. Yeah, so that's why like try to
Quick
post.
question, Courtney. So when it comes to like prompt engineering for ChatGPT and and you want to tell it to redact screenshots, like what do you normally say? Because sometimes, ChatGPT can still make mistakes in trying to redact.
It would not redact the way I wanted it to. I had to do that myself.
You can use
Oh,
like a
really?
The
snipping
snippet
tool.
tool, my best
Yeah,
friend, man.
yeah. Just put some square bracket. So what I was gonna say, great question, Gazi. And sorry to cut you up. What I wanted to say is that when you are posting these screenshots, try to add screenshots that like add the screen. And by the way, Courtney, how many screenshots did you add in that it took? Did it end up taking like the full like 7 or 8 that you
I
had?
put 13 and it took all 13.
Perfect. That's awesome. Thank God. All right, cool. So when you're doing your screenshots, like add whatever screenshots you feel are relevant, but also add a couple screenshots that you feel like wouldn't be that exposing. Like you can add a few that you wouldn't have to maybe redact so much. Because if you're
Right,
putting on with the whole command line, you might not want to have like all of that file path directory. You're gonna have to do a whole lot of this. So
right.
put as many screenshots as you want, just so that you have a couple like that you can use that require maybe is not as much redacting, but just provide additional substance and context to your, you know.
I was literally just looking at Adonis's page and he made a post where he had some really good screenshots and that was the first report that I did. So now I know what to do for next time.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And I just closed this. I'm gonna go ahead and add this to the turnover, and we are officially done. Do me a favor, y'all. Please go like my post on LinkedIn.
I already did. I
Por
can't keep up.
favor.
You're putting out so much content. I can't even keep up with liking everything.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, nah, I've been really focused on trying to, put out more content, valuable content, and I automated a good amount of it. So, just being able to there's a tool called repurpose.io, essentially where I upload content in one folder in a Google Drive and it gets dispersed across all platforms. So I just set up a content schedule. I take these long form videos sometimes, I'll redistribute them sometimes, and take clippings. So it's just like a way to automate the content and not have to always be, like focused on, like I want to focus on other things. So now I feel like I kind of got content out of my way for the most part. Obviously it's not perfect. It can get better, right? But perfection is the enemy. Perfection is procrastination in disguise. I tell you guys that all the time. Perfection is procrastination in disguise. Just start producing. Worry about how pretty it is and all that later, but just get your name out there, get your face out there, start talking to people, right? Because there's nothing worse than going, uh, you know, reaching out to a recruiter or having a conversation be spun about, and then you have no substance on your page. There's no, someone clicks on your YouTube channel and it doesn't have a video on it. Like, it's just, the more validation and the more credibility that you have on your LinkedIn profile, on your YouTube, like the more you're seen as an authority, people can look me up. My name can get typed in somewhere and it's cybersecurity everywhere. You can't, like, my name is cybersecurity or almost the same name, so like you're gonna see my face in cybersecurity everywhere. So it's like, yeah, he does cybersecurity 100%. Like if you're less known because you're newer and you're just kind of trying, you need to become that center of your ecosystem, which is why the YouTube channel was so important. And another thing I want to also point out, if you want to know what the heck you're doing, teach other people. Teach other people. When you're learning something for the first time, right? I'm practicing some things that I'm learning right now. And you know what I do? I grab my daughter, I say, sit your butt down. I'm going to talk to you for the next 20 minutes and you're going to learn about, whatever I'm talking about, cybersecurity, right? Because I want her to know about whatever topics I'm learning about. And that helps me because now I am reinforcing my learning and understanding, and she's learning something for the first time, and I'm putting it in a language that a 6-year-old can understand. So the best thing you can do is literally teach somebody else. If you don't have anyone to teach, literally grab a little, squishy or something like that, a stuffed animal, or, I don't want nobody doing no voodoo unintentionally, but like, grab something, talk to your children or your dog, or just literally record a video and pretend there's a huge audience there and start teaching it. That's why I tell you guys, like, I just posted the LinkedIn post. Like, that's cool. It looks cool. The work is good. But at the end of the day, most people ain't going to be reading and clicking into that. Now, if I get on camera and show my handsome face, you know what I'm saying? And I get on there and start talking about some cybersecurity, like they gonna pay attention because it's more animated, it's more creative, it's unique. You get it? Chris, you get online and start talking cybersecurity with your tattoos and your vernacular and your storytelling abilities, you're gonna get eyeballs, bro. You're gonna get eyeballs. And you do it on YouTube. I will be putting that on LinkedIn. Going live on LinkedIn. If I'm Chris, yo, Adonis, hey, yo, Mike, whatever, John, Paul, Dick, Harry, you guys want to get on Monday night, talk about cybersecurity for the last, for 15 minutes about this threat hunt we just did? Anything to get your name, face out there so that your profile says to recruiters and hiring managers and companies, this person is in the field, they're doing it. Because all they have to do now is like you. People got to see your face 7 to 11 times to then build some type of rapport and relationship with you, right? Once they see your face 7 to 11 times, now they begin to know, like, and trust you inherently if there's someone interested in the topic you're discussing. So, again, the more they see your face, the more you're talking about these things, the better. And the tools and the environment we're working in, and no one can disqualify you or discredit you. You're using the same exact tools that these enterprises are using. So you're doing the right work. Keep it up. Proud of everybody. But yeah, a nice thing would be putting out like a nice little, snippet of this report. Like tomorrow, I may get online and be like, "We just conducted a threat hunt on Hydro Kitten, and we found 93 different vulnerabilities that we didn't even know existed. Let me tell you more about it." And it could be a 60-second video of a green screen little screen recording on your phone. You guys know how to do that. And if you don't, then just there's other things you can do as well. All right, guys. So that's all I got. I'm gonna go ahead and share this in the chat for the people who left a little bit early, and hopefully we get some more love on it. If anyone, does anyone else need anything from me before we call it tomorrow? You guys are back on. For those of you who are, how's everybody doing with the job search when it comes to applying for jobs? Because, for example, Adonis, Richard, Bella, they're getting a lot of interviews right now because we've turned on an automation that's applying to jobs. They're not applying to jobs. Adonis, are you applying to jobs on your own?
No, sir.
Okay.
Outside of just, a few, if I see a click here and
Yeah.
there.
But like realistically speaking, like how many jobs have been applied for you in the last, what, month? How long has it been?
Her name is Alibi. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Alibi. I can tell you right now because I
Yeah,
have
I was on it earlier. It said 657 last time I checked. And that's
so
just a month.
it's been a month.
Yeah, about a little over a month.
So a month and we've applied to 650 jobs for you.
Yeah.
How many interviews got scheduled altogether?
Well, I've spoken to over 10 recruiters already, but I got officially one scheduled today.
Volume, 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 volume. That's what, like, volume matters. These are universal laws, okay? These are universal laws, okay? So you got to it's not just apply aimlessly. No, there's strategy to it. There's strategy to it. But you got to get you got to have enough volume to, be able to do that. Otherwise, you're never gonna, like, it's not gonna convert. It's not gonna work. So hopefully that makes sense. I was trying to see, what was I looking for? Oh, I think I found it right here. It's the law of average numbers. All right. The law of average numbers and the law of big numbers, meaning the more people that come across your profile, the more people that see your resume, the more likely you are to get a response, to get an interview scheduled, right? To get a job offer. So If you guys are looking for help for that and need some help with that, let me know. There should be some openings opening up. Again, this isn't an upsell. It's just a, hey, if you want to get some help with that and not have to worry about the application process and just focus on the other things. Because again, applying for jobs is a definitely 1/3 of this process. And the reality of the situation is, you could ask Richard, who's not here anymore. Before we turned this service on a month ago, he applied to 100 jobs over the course of 6 months. No interviews, right? Like no interview schedule, because that's not enough volume, really. Sporadically here, five or six, 10 here and there, it's not enough. But for you to have over 600 in a month and now start to see you had 10 conversations with recruiters and now have an interview scheduled, like that's the type of the conversions that we need in order to get the results that we want. But before we do that, because again, these relationships with recruiters, they're important. So you don't want to be burning bridges, because a lot of times I'm sending you guys leads from recruiters who want me to work. And I'm like, I'm not interested in this job for whatever reason. It could be a variety of factors. I'm going to send those leads to y'all. And if I'm sending you guys a lead, it's because somebody wanted me for the job I'm not interested in, but I'm saying, hey, I know someone who's looking because they're in, Jersey, and they're looking for a role just like this. Do you want me to refer them to you? Because they know just as much as me. They're actually looking though for this type of role. Yeah, sure, absolutely. They're so excited because they're like, if I'm getting a referral from this guy, birds of a feather flock together. So if I send somebody and they're a bimbo because they don't know their head from their elbow and they don't know how to answer the question, what are you doing at Scytharity? Now it makes me look bad. It breaks the brand's, trust, and you miss out on an opportunity to build a connection, because these recruiters will remember you. And if you do well, and if you ever get placed, they will circle the block and try to place you again. I've had it happen. That's how I got my job at Microsoft. The guy who placed me back in my job when I was working at Fiserv came back and said, yeah, I placed you 3 years ago. You don't remember? I said, no. Got me a job at Microsoft. That was one of the best gigs I've ever gotten. So that's why it's important. All right. And there also is a recruiter database with 400 recruiters that are in the drive waiting for you guys to connect with. So that also gives you a little bit of a, nest egg foundation to like have a solid amount of like people and eyeballs on you. All right. Um, Listen, that's how it goes, man. So, all right, folks. That's all I got. Hope everyone has a good rest of their evening, and see you guys tomorrow, and continue to get your reps in. Let's do it.
Likewise. Good night.
Good night, everyone.